Look, I'm not gonna lie. 5 years ago, I woke up in ancient China as the county magistrate of Bailiang, which is basically the armpit of the entire empire. We're talking the place where they send criminals to suffer. That's my jurisdiction. Lucky me. But before I even got to my new job, I met this woman. And when I say woman, I mean the kind of goddess-tier beauty that makes your brain stop working. She'd been poisoned with some weird aphrodisiac by assassins. I helped her out. One thing led to another, and yeah, best night of my life. Worst morning of my life. Because she just vanished. No name, no number, no, hey, thanks for the rescue. Nothing. Just gone. Like a beautiful, soul-destroying ghost. All she left behind was the memory of an expensive jade pendant and the kind of royal aura that screams, "You are wildly out of your league, buddy." 5 years I've been thinking about her. 5 years. That's unhealthy. I know it's unhealthy. I lit up one of my homemade cigarettes. Yeah, I invented cigarettes here. I'm a modern military tech genius stuck in ancient times, don't ask, and told myself the dream is over. Time to move on. Slicked my hair back with my custom hair gel, put on my best, I'm the boss, face, because today is a big day. Today we celebrate Bailiang County hitting 1 million people. That's right. This dump that used to have more mosquitoes than humans now has a bigger population than the capital. I spent 5 years turning this wasteland into a fortress using modern tech. Concrete roads, tall buildings, walls higher than the Imperial Palace. I'm basically playing Civilization on hardcore mode and winning. So I'm heading out to my annual military parade. Because of course I have annual military parades, when my deputy comes running in like he saw a unicorn. Boss, there's a fairy outside. Gorgeous. Big eyes. Perfect figure. Even prettier than our local beauty queen. She's got this ice-cold vibe, super intimidating, even scarier than you. I'm like, okay, interesting, tell me more. Then this idiot sighs and goes, too bad though. She's got a baby with her. Says she's looking for the kid's father. What a waste, some pig got to her first. My eye literally twitched. I kicked him. Can you finish a sentence without giving me a heart attack? But I didn't connect the dots. Not even close. Because I'm apparently a genius who can modernize an entire county but can't do basic math about what happens 9 months after a one-night stand. Instead, I got all righteous about it. Some deadbeat dad? In MY County. Have the secretary file the case. I'll deal with this scumbag after my parade. If there's one thing I hate, it's men who abandon their women and children, and I marched out the door feeling very noble about myself. Meanwhile, and I obviously didn't know this at the time, that fairy with a baby was her, the mystery woman. Except she's not just some random noble lady. She's the Empress, the actual female emperor of the entire nation. She fled the palace 5 years ago during a coup, stumbled into my county half-poisoned, and I accidentally slept with the future ruler of the known world. She went back, crushed the traitors, seized the throne, and then realized she was pregnant. With a my kid, a little girl named Huan who's basically the cutest thing alive. Chubby cheeks, big eyes, and absolutely devastated that she's the only kid in the Imperial Palace without a daddy. So this ice-cold empress who commands armies and executes traitors? She's standing in MY Street, looking at MY concrete roads, staring at MY skyscrapers, completely losing her mind, because the last time she was here this place was a swamp full of criminals and cannibals. And her daughter's tugging her sleeve going, "Mommy, look, there's a picture of you on that wall," pointing at my missing person posters that I've apparently been putting up for 5 years like the world's most dedicated simp. But the Empress didn't even notice because my parade security team was herding everyone to the sides of the road with megaphones. Her brain was too busy short-circuiting anyway. The capital has 900,000 people. My backwater county just hit 1 million. The walls are taller than her palace. The roads are smoother than her throne room floor. She's standing there thinking, this can't be Bailiang County. This is impossible. This is fake. And somewhere on the other side of town, I'm reviewing my troops, completely clueless that my one-night stand is the Empress, my daughter exists, and the woman I've been searching for 5 years is literally in my city filing looking for baby daddy, report with my own secretary. I'm going to feel so stupid later. So there I was, standing on the main stage, feeling like an absolute king. My parade day. My moment. I grabbed my megaphone. Yes, I invented megaphones too. You're welcome. and announced to the entire county that we just hit 1 million people. And the crowd went insane. Long live the magistrate. Bailiang is invincible. Look, I know long live is technically reserved for the emperor, but honestly, the emperor's dead. There's some new ruler nobody out here cares about. And I just turned a swamp into a superpower. I think I've earned a little, long live. Sue me. Meanwhile, and again, I had no idea about any of this. My baby mama the Empress was standing 3 blocks away, hearing everything through my speaker system, and absolutely losing her mind. See, she brought her eunuch bodyguard, this guy Ma Sanbao, to do some recon on Bailiang before finding me. And Ma Sanbao came back with a report that basically reads like a criminal indictment. Your Majesty, the walls are reinforced with steel and concrete. They're stronger than the capital's walls. The roads are made of something called cement. They can build miles of it in a single day. Last decades. Also, he has 30,000 elite soldiers. And the Empress is standing there going through the 5 stages of grief in real time. She came here to find her baby daddy and instead discovered what she thinks is the biggest rebel operation in the empire. Oh, and it gets better. Ma Sanbao spent 10 gold pieces bribing someone for intel and got told that I, the county magistrate, have been robbing passing merchant caravans, kidnapping villagers from 100 miles around, and dragging indigenous mountain people down from the hills to boost my population numbers. Which, okay, I can explain. That's not exactly what happened, but I can see how it might look that way from the outside. So now the Empress has compiled a whole list of my crimes: illegally building fortress walls, maintaining a private army, highway robbery, conspiring with barbarians, and the big one, plotting rebellion. Ma Sanbao was begging her to leave. Your Majesty, this place is dangerous. Let's go. They close the gates at night, but no. My girl, the Empress I don't know is my girl, goes full action hero mode. If I hadn't come here myself, I wouldn't know about this traitor until his blade was at my throat. Send for the shadow guards. We stay. We investigate. She even suspects I'm working with foreign enemies because, and this is fair, how does a middle-of-nowhere county feed 1 million people? That is suspicious. I respect the detective work even though it's aimed at me. Then my parade started, and things got even worse for her blood pressure. The drums kicked in. Boom, boom, boom. You could feel each beat in your chest from streets away. My soldiers marched out in perfect formation, rows so straight you could check them with a ruler. Every column, every diagonal, perfectly aligned. And the Empress? The woman who personally trained the Empire's #1 elite guard unit? She got goosebumps. Goosebumps. She looked at my troops and thought, my best soldiers couldn't hold a candle to these guys. And there were so many formations she couldn't even see the end of the line. Oh, and the best part? The crowd wasn't waving the national flag. They were waving Bailiang County flags. My flags. Yeah, I can see how that might look a tiny bit treasonous. Little Huan Huan was riding on Ma Sanbao's shoulders, clapping and squealing. Mommy, look. So many soldiers. So cool. The eunuch was sweating bullets. The Empress was mentally drafting my execution order. And my adorable daughter, who I don't know exists, was having the time of her life watching her dad's army march past. I'm out here living my best life thinking I'm just a cool county magistrate who built a nice town, completely unaware that the most powerful woman in the world is 3 streets away, convinced I'm the Empire's most dangerous traitor, while simultaneously being the mother of my child. This is fine. Everything is fine. All right, parade time. My moment to shine. First up, the Guard Battalion. My OGs. The boys who've been with me since day one, back when Bailiang County was just a fancy name for pile of dirt with mosquitoes. They marched past in perfect sync, and when I hit them with the comrades, you've worked hard, through the speakers, they fired back with, we serve the magistrate. We serve the people. In perfect unison. My eyelid did not twitch with pride. That was allergies. Now, I could hear the crowd commentary because, well, I designed the acoustics of this city. Some uncle was complaining that the Guard Battalion still carries crossbows. Crossbows? Shouldn't they upgrade? Even the night watchmen don't use flintlock muskets anymore. And some scholar guy next to him was like, flintlocks? That's 3-year OLD tech, you peasant. The new weapon can rapid fire and kill targets from 150 zhong away. Which, yeah, that's accurate. I've been speedrunning the entire history of firearms development. We blew past flintlocks like 2 years ago. Keep up, people. Second formation, infantry with upgraded rifles. Third formation, cavalry. Full steel plate armor, every single rider. Let me brag for a second. The entire Dacian Empire can only afford 5,000 fully armored cavalry out of 100,000 horsemen. I've got 1,000, and every single set is top-grade forged steel. In a county that used to be a swamp. I'm not saying I'm better than the Emperor. I'm saying the numbers speak for themselves. Fourth formation, scouts. Fifth, were chariots. Sixth, seventh, eighth, they just kept coming. Half an hour of nonstop military formations marching past. And when they were done, they didn't disperse. They stood at attention, silent, disciplined. 30,000 soldiers, not a whisper. The entire city went quiet too. 1,000,000 people holding their breath. Then the announcer, my announcer, through MY speaker system, boomed. All formations complete. Requesting the honorable magistrate to conduct inspection, and 30,000 soldiers shouted in unison, requesting the magistrate to conduct inspection. And then, I swear I didn't plan this, the civilians joined in. 1,000,000 voices. Requesting the magistrate to conduct inspection. Okay, maybe I teared up a little. Allergies again. Now here's where things got slightly out of hand. I specifically told the construction bureau to just get me a regular cart. Something simple. Modest. Maybe a nice horse pulling a wooden wagon. Humble vibes. These idiots built me a war chariot pulled by 9 horses. 9. For context, the emperor, the actual emperor, traditionally rides a chariot pulled by 6 horses. That's the rule. The Son of Heaven rides 6. It's been law for centuries. I'm riding 9. But what was I going to do? Send it back? The parade was starting. So I climbed on top of this ridiculous mega chariot, stood up straight, slicked my hair gleaming in the sunlight, and rode out looking like the final boss of ancient China. I did my thing. Rolled past the troops, past the crowds. Comrades, you've worked hard. Not hard. The magistrate works harder. Comrades, you've gotten tan. The magistrate is more tan. Listen, I wrote that call-in response script myself, and I'm not ashamed. The crowd was eating it up. Soldiers cheering, civilians crying with joy, children on shoulders waving my county flag. Peak. Absolute peak. And 3 streets away, the Empress, still unknown to me, was watching my 9-horse chariot roll by, biting her lip so hard it might bleed, mentally adding another crime to my growing rap sheet. The Emperor rides 6. This dog official dares to ride 9. But here's the thing that was really messing with her head. She could see my soldiers were real elites. Not parade decorations. These guys had conviction in their eyes. Faith. Pride. Her own Imperial Guard didn't have that kind of loyalty. And the weapons? She was practically drooling. If the Empire could mass-produce my rifles, they could turn the whole war around. She was already scheming about how to confiscate everything. She even had this hilarious internal debate where she went from, I must execute this treasonous dog, to, well, maybe if he cooperates and tells me all his secrets, I could spare his pathetic life, to, wait, am I actually admiring this criminal? Girl, that criminal is your baby daddy, and he's been putting up missing person posters of your face for 5 years. But sure, keep planning my execution. This is going to be the most awkward family reunion in the history of Imperial China. So I just finished the most glorious parade of my life. I'm riding my 9-horse chariot feeling like ancient China's answer to a rock star. The crowd is chanting my name. My hair gel is holding up beautifully in the wind. Life is perfect. And then the alarm went off. Whoa, that's my air raid siren. Yeah, I built air raid sirens. Because when you live in a 3-way border zone between hostile empires and your neighbors are psycho-barbarian tribes, you learn to plan ahead. Attention citizens, barbarian forces, approximately 100,000 strong, are approaching Baliang County. Please proceed to your nearest shelter in an orderly fashion. Women, children, and elderly first, 100,000 barbarians. On MY Parade Day, the audacity. I grabbed the mic and had my announcer relay my message. These savages just ruined the celebration for 1 million of my people. That means they've made enemies of me and 1 million citizens. We will crush them. Anyone who dares attack Baliang, and no matter how far they run, will be destroyed, and 1 million people roared it back. And no matter how far, will be destroyed, goosebumps. Every single time. Now here's what makes me proudest, and I say this as a guy who literally reinvented firearms from scratch. It's not the weapons. It's the people. Nobody panicked. Not one person. My Civil Defense Corps, the guys with black uniforms and red armbands. They were already on the streets directing traffic to shelters before I even gave the order. Some old lady was out there comforting newcomers like it was a Sunday picnic. Oh honey, you must be from out of town. Don't worry. We get attacked all the time. Last few years we've fought off 80, maybe 100,000 enemies. The magistrate always handles it. Just follow the crowd. We've got enough food in the shelters to last a year or two. A year or two. That's my logistics system, baby. I didn't just build walls. I built a civilization. Meanwhile, and I still don't know any of this, the Empress was getting emotionally destroyed in real time. See, right before the alarm, little Huan spotted me on my chariot and went ballistic. Daddy. Mommy, that's Daddy. He looks just like your painting. He's even more handsome in person. She was screaming and waving, but the crowd was so loud nobody could hear a 4-year-old. And then the crowd surged and Ma Sambao got shoved backward, and by the time they could look again, my chariot had already passed. Huan started bawling. Daddy didn't look at me. Does Daddy hate me? The Empress was trying to calm her down. He's just busy, sweetie. He didn't see you. But here's the thing. The Empress saw me too. Well, she saw the back of my head. She didn't recognize me. She just saw the rebel magistrate and figured maybe her baby daddy was somewhere in my army or in the crowd on the other side. She even thought maybe the kid was just so desperate for a father she imagined it. 1 million people in this city and she can't find one guy, who happens to be the most visible person in the entire county, standing on a chariot, pulled by 9 horses, with spotlights. I'm starting to think fate is just trolling us at this point. Then the barbarian alarm hit, and the Empress went into full military analysis mode. She was watching my evacuation protocols, civilians first, elderly and children prioritized, orderly retreat to shelters, and something shifted inside her. She was thinking about the palace coup 5 years ago. How many civilians died? How many women and children were slaughtered because nobody bothered to protect them? How the capital still hasn't recovered its population from that disaster. And here's this treasonous dog official in a backwater county, and he's got better emergency response than the entire imperial government. She actually felt ashamed. The Empress of the whole nation felt ashamed compared to a county magistrate. Me, the guy she's planning to execute. Oh, and speaking of execution, she did update my sentence. Very generous of her. She watched my soldiers sprint to the walls, saw how the people trusted me with their lives, and thought, if he wins this battle, I won't kill his entire clan. I'll just kill him. Thanks, babe. Real sweet of you. The mother of my child is graciously reducing my execution from a family genocide to a solo beheading. Progress. Now if you'll excuse me, I've got 100,000 barbarians to obliterate on what was supposed to be my day off. Okay, so the barbarians are coming. 100,000 of them, with their fancy wolf cavalry leading the charge, 30,000 mounted warriors in full armor. Even the horses are armored. Scary stuff if you're literally anyone except me. My guys were ready in minutes. Guard battalion, infantry, riflemen, all in position before I finished my tea. Because that's how we roll in Bailiang. We don't panic, we prepare. But I wasn't worried about the barbarians. I was worried about Zhang Wei, the border general stationed at Bailiang Pass. See, 5 years ago I bribed this guy into covering for me. If he'd reported what I was building out here, the imperial court would have sent an army to shut me down before I even invented concrete. Over the years we became actual brothers. I invited him to today's celebration. He confirmed he was coming. He never showed up. Which means only one thing. The barbarians intercepted him. I slammed my fist on the table. Send every scout. Find him. Alive or dead. Standing next to me was my personal bodyguard, Eagle Eye. Real name, Big Chicken. He's the former chief of a mountain tribe, 7 feet tall, carries a wolf fang club the size of a person, has a mohawk, triangle eyes, and looks absolutely terrifying. Except he's cross-eyed, which kinda ruins the vibe. Makes him look like an angry, confused puppy. I renamed him Eagle Eye because, look, I thought it was funny, okay? Eagle Eye was swinging his club around going, let me go smash them, boss. Then Red Lady, my head of military medical, shut him down immediately. There are 30,000 cavalry on open plains. How many can you smash? 3, 4. Red Lady is something else. Former warrior woman I saved 4 years ago. Built like a fitness model, carries a horse-chopping saber, has these sharp eyebrows that make her look like a female action hero from an old kung fu movie. She runs my field hospital, and she's been giving me "I would die for you" eyes for years, but I pretend not to notice because I'm still hung up on my mystery Empress. Which, again, I don't know is the Empress. My love life is a disaster, but my military life? Chef's kiss. The barbarians hit my first defense line, the spike barriers. They pushed through. Cool, expected that. Second line, razor wire. They pushed through that too. Fine, they learned from last time. Third line, the minefield. Boom, 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 boom. Armored horses flipping through the air. Elite cavalry eating dirt. The ground itself turned into a meat grinder. Beautiful. Nice. Hold the cannons. Let them push deeper so none of them escape. See, I'm not just defending. I'm harvesting. Bailiang needs resources. War horses. Iron, coal, salt. The barbarian territory has all of that. I was planning to invade them anyway after the parade. They just saved me the trip by delivering themselves to my doorstep. The barbarians aren't totally stupid though. They brought siege catapults that can hurl 30-pound rocks about 40 zhang. Accuracy is trash, but they can still hurt. Once they pushed past the minefield and committed their forces, I dropped my hand. Fire, 50 cannons, the peak of my military engineering, opened up from the walls simultaneously. Modern artillery versus medieval cavalry. It was like bringing a flamethrower to a snowball fight. Wolf cavalry flying in every direction, horses screaming, absolute carnage. Yes, blow these sons of, keep firing. More. I was having the time of my life watching through my telescope. If I had more resources and a few more years, I could conquer the world. The neighboring empires? One big bomb, and they'd all be calling me daddy. But then, because the universe can never just let me have a good day, I saw the wolf cavalry suddenly pull back. And through the smoke, tied up and pushed to the front lines like a human shield. Zhang Wei, my brother, my guy, the one person keeping my secret from the empire. Captured, bound, surrounded by barbarian riders. Cease fire. Cease fire now. My soldiers were in the zone. They were shredding barbarians like a blender, and I'm telling them to stop. But they obeyed instantly, because discipline is discipline. Then one barbarian rider galloped right up to my wall, bold as you please, and shouted, "We have your precious General Zhang Wei. You want him back? Hand over all your firearms." I stood there on the wall, looking down at this guy, smoke still clearing, cannon barrels still hot, and my blood went from boiling with battle excitement to boiling with absolute rage. You kidnapped my brother. You attacked my city. On my parade day. And now you want my guns? Buddy, you have no idea what you just started. All right, let me walk you through the greatest hostage negotiation in ancient Chinese history, starring me. So there's Zhang Wei, my brother, tied up like a dumpling in front of 100,000 barbarians, and their messenger is down below my wall running his mouth. Hand over your weapons, or we sell him to your enemies. If you let him die, your government will come after you. Blah, blah, blah. Shut up, I said. Send him over. You get your stuff. The guy literally short-circuited. He had a whole speech prepared, and I just said yes before he could finish. Nobody expected that. Not him, not my soldiers, nobody. My people went nuts. Sir, don't. It's a trap. Eagle Eye was spinning his giant club around screaming about turning barbarian skulls into chamber pots. Red Lady was doing her calm, tactical voice. Don't fall for it, sir. Every soldier on my wall was begging me to let them charge out and die fighting instead. Then Zhang Wei, this absolute legend, started crying and yelling from down below. Little brother, forget me. I've killed enough people for one lifetime. Being your brother was the greatest honor I've ever had. If there's a next life, I'll be your brother again. His guards joined in. We'd rather die by your cannons than by barbarian hands. Fire on us, sir. Kill the enemy. Real warrior stuff. Made everyone on my wall tear up. Even Red Lady was like, now those are real men of Dakian. Eagle Eye was pulling his own hair out wanting to fight. But me? I grabbed my megaphone and said the coldest thing I've ever said in my life. I don't believe in gods. I don't believe in heaven. I don't believe in next lives. If we're gonna be brothers, we're doing it in this life. Zhang Wei, sit tight. I'm coming to get you. And if anyone touches a single hair on your head, I will erase the barbarian race from history. Yeah, I said that. Into a megaphone. In front of 100,000 enemies. Was it dramatic? Absolutely. Did I mean every word? You bet I did. Their commander, Saiha, head of the Wolf Cavalry, big shot, got on his own megaphone and started negotiating. Give us 10 cannons, 100 muskets, 100 telescopes, 10,000 grenades, and the manufacturing blueprints. My soldiers almost had aneurysms. I said, deal. Everyone thought I'd lost my mind. But here's the thing about me, and I say this with zero modesty. I am the smartest person in this entire world. By like 400 years of technological advancement. These barbarians think they're swindling me. That's adorable. I even threw in a little threat to sell the deal. Saiha, you should be grateful I'm cooperating. Because if you push me, I'll just kill all of you. Kill Zhang Wei in the crossfire, then tell the imperial court he died heroically fighting barbarians. He becomes a national hero. Your people become extinct. Your choice. Saiha went real quiet after that. Then agreed to a swap. Half the hostages for half the weapons, then the other half. He sent over the first batch of Zhang Wei's guards. I winched them up the wall in baskets. Poor guys were slapping their own faces crying. We failed you, sir. Men don't kneel. Get up. I'm busy. Stop blubbering. Then I sent down my half of the deal. Cannons, muskets, telescopes, grenades, blueprints. Everything they asked for. My soldiers watched in horror as barbarian riders happily carted away our weapons. Saiha was so excited his eyes turned red. He grabbed one of my grenades, the Sky Thunder model, lit the fuse, and chucked it into an empty field just to test it. Boom. Horses screamed. The ground shook. Saiha was giddy. Ha! With these weapons, the barbarian nation will be great again. Sure, buddy. Sure. He signaled his men to send Zhang Wei and the last hostages toward my wall. I started lowering the second batch of weapons. Everything going smooth. Exchange almost complete. Saiha trembling with excitement, probably already planning his world domination. And then his head exploded. Just pop, like a watermelon hit by a sledgehammer. Brains and skull fragments spraying all over his bodyguards. His corpse flopped off his horse and hit the dirt. See, while I was up there playing the world's most cooperative hostage negotiator, I gave one quiet little order that nobody heard. Sniper team. Lock on Saiha. You think I was actually going to give away my weapons and let him live? Please. I've been wanting to kill this man for years. He literally rode up to my wall and showed me his face. On MY parade day, while holding MY brother hostage. The weapons? The blueprints? All of it is worthless without me. I can change the formulas, redesign everything, make the stuff I gave them into expensive paperweights. But Saiha's head? That's a one-time, non-refundable, no exchanges accepted kind of deal. Merry Christmas, barbarians. The second Saiha's head popped like a grape, everything happened fast. My sniper team, brand new, literally just finished training, 5 years of R&D to get the rifles right, started picking off every barbarian guarding Zhang Wei. One shot, one kill. Pop, pop, pop. They dropped off their horses like someone hit the off switch. Not a single one even had time to look surprised. Sniper 1, kill confirmed. Sniper 2, kill confirmed. Sniper 3, music to my ears. Best debut performance of any military unit in history. 5 stars. Would fund again. The instant Zhang Wei was clear, I screamed what my entire army had been dying to hear. Open fire. Blow these sons of everything. Give them everything. Cannons erupted. Crossbow volleys darkened the sky. 5 minutes of pure, unfiltered rage from an army that had been told to stop shooting mid-battle. You do not blueball 30,000 soldiers and expect mercy. Eagle Eye grabbed a rope, wrapped it around his wrist, picked up his giant club with his free hand, and literally yeeted himself off the wall. Just whoosh gone. 7-foot cross-eyed maniac sliding down a castle wall holding a weapon the size of a small tree. Red Lady followed right behind him. Because of course she did. They reached Zhang Wei in seconds. Eagle Eye grabbed him by the collar like a kitten. Zhang Wei, bless his heart, tried to be heroic. Give me his sword. I want to fight. Eagle Eye stuffed him into a basket. SIT down. You're a liability. Zhang Wei's face turned red, but he couldn't argue. He'd been tied up for hours. He could barely stand. Getting in the way of Eagle Eye's murder spree would have been embarrassing for everyone. Eagle Eye grabbed a barbarian horse, hopped on, and charged into the enemy with his club screaming like a maniac. I'm pretty sure I heard laughing mixed with the screaming. That man has problems. I love him. Meanwhile, I grabbed the war drums from my drummer and started hammering them myself. Shirt sleeves rolled up, veins popping. Everyone thinks I'm some skinny bookworm magistrate. Surprise! I've been doing secret workouts for 5 years because I'm not stupid. Under this scholar's robe is a body built by pure survival paranoia. Tiger cavalry. Charge. The gates opened and my 1,000 fully armored riders exploded out like they'd been shot from a cannon. Saber formations, lance walls, absolute devastation. The wolf cavalry without Saiha was like a chicken without a head. Literally, their leader's head was in pieces on the ground. They panicked. They ran. The most feared cavalry force on the continent turned into 100,000 guys trying to remember which direction home was. It stopped being a battle and became a one-sided buffet. Zhang Wei made it up the wall, dropped to one knee, and started apologizing. Brother, I can't face you, Zhang Wei. I'm drumming. I can't watch the battlefield and drum. You command. Tell my army where to hit. He blinked. Then he straightened up. From today forward, I follow your lead. And just like that, the greatest border general in the empire became My Guy. Officially, no more secret alliance, full commitment. He took over tactical command and started directing my troops to cut off escape routes. Total battle time, under 1 hour. Barbarian casualties, over 10,000, including 3,000 elite wolf cavalry killed just in front of my walls. For context, the old emperor's best result against these barbarians in his entire reign was killing 500. My county just killed 3,000 of their elites before lunch. Now, down in the shelters, where I'd sent all civilians, the Empress was having yet another existential crisis. Ma Sanbao was covering little Huan Huan's ears, shaking like a leaf. What is that noise? Thunder? In broad daylight, the Bailiang women in the shelter thought this was hilarious. Some little girl almost blurted out the name of our secret weapons before the others shushed her. They've got better operational security than most armies. I train these people well. Ma Sanbao tried his imperial wisdom. Can 3,000 troops really hold against barbarians? They say if barbarians number over 10,000, they're unbeatable. Every woman, girl, and grandmother in that shelter laughed in his face. Unbeatable? Sweetie, we've been grinding them into dust for years. If the magistrate actually wanted to, he could have wiped them all out ages ago. He's just been too busy building stuff. Ma Sanbao had no comeback. In the rest of the empire, people whisper the word barbarian in terror. In my county, old ladies roast them like it's comedy night. Then the shelter doors opened. We won. Total victory. The barbarians are routed. Ma Sanbao's jaw hit the floor. It hasn't even been 1 hour. The Empress refused to believe it. It must be a trick. A diversion. Nobody beats the wolf cavalry that fast. But it wasn't a trick. My cleanup crews were already sweeping the battlefield. Ma Sanbao, still in denial. 3,000 wolf cavalry? They're lying. Must be regular barbarian grunts. Nobody kills 3,000 elite cavalry. That's insane. Sure, buddy. Keep coping. They left the shelter, and the city was already back to normal. People shopping. Kids playing. Like 100,000 barbarians hadn't just attacked 20 minutes ago. Just another Tuesday in Bailiang. But then, right when the Empress was about to take sleepy little Huan Huan to an inn, a group of guys in blue uniforms walked up to them. You three, come with us. And that's when things got really interesting for our undercover Empress. Because in My City, strangers who show up asking weird questions and bribing people for military secrets? Yeah, we notice. Welcome to Bailiang County, Your Majesty. Hope you enjoyed the tour. Now let's have a little chat. After battle report time. My commanders lined up and gave me the numbers. Killed, 16,000 wolf cavalry elite, 4,800 regular cavalry. Total barbarian losses, over 20,000. Captured, 11,000 prisoners. Horses seized, 30,000. Weapons, a whole pile. My losses, 2 dead, 20 serious injuries, 220 minor scratches. That's a kill ratio of over 10,000 to 1. In any normal dynasty, they'd build statues of me, write songs, name babies after me. I told my commanders to stand up and stop groveling, then immediately complained that we had injuries at all. This was a one-sided slaughter, and you still let people get hurt? Double their training when they recover. Zhang Wei was standing there with his jaw on the floor. 25 years in the military. 15 years guarding the border. His personal best against these barbarians was probably a few hundred kills. And he just watched me delete 20,000 of them in under an hour with 2 casualties. Now here's the real problem. And I know this sounds insane, but hear me out. We won too hard. See, the weapons I traded to the barbarians? Mostly useless. The flintlocks are outdated junk. No ammo, no threat. The grenades? I'm not stupid. Only the top layer was real. The rest were training duds. Literally can't explode. The cannons were too heavy for them to run away with, so we got those back. Only real loss was the telescopes, which is annoying but survivable. I've been doing this for 5 years. Every spy, every thief, every scheming neighbor who's tried to steal my tech has walked away with carefully prepared garbage. You think I'd hand over working weapons to barbarians? I invented these things. I know exactly how to make them useless. But the victory itself? That's the dangerous part. Zhang Wei pulled me aside after everyone left. Brother, you should be the border general. Actually, forget that. You should command all the armies. I shook my head so fast it almost flew off. No, absolutely not. I'm just a humble county magistrate who wants a quiet life. Zhang Wei looked like he wanted to strangle me. Here's our actual problem. We normally report small victories. 50 kills here, 100 there. Nice and steady. Makes Zhang Wei look competent. Keeps the court happy. Nobody asks questions. Perfect system. But 20,000 kills in one battle? If we report that, the imperial court will send investigators immediately. They'll want to know how. They'll find my cannons, my rifles, my concrete fortress, my million-person city, and my 9-horse chariot. And then I'm dead. So, what if we split it into 10 reports? 1 per month? I suggested. Zhang Wei rubbed his temples. Make it 2 years. If the court sees these numbers all at once, they'll order me to go wipe out the remaining barbarians. And then they'll find out about you. Most generals would kill for this kind of victory. Zhang Wei was literally trying to figure out how to hide it. The man had so much military glory, he was treating it like radioactive waste. We settled on a plan. Spread the credit around. Nominate some officers for promotion. Drip feed the results over 2 years. Classic bureaucratic camouflage. Now come on, I said, throwing my arm around his shoulder. You missed my parade, got kidnapped, almost died. Let's go to the new bathhouse. Place called Red Romance. We'll soak, relax, wash off the bad luck. Zhang Wei nodded. Finally, some peace, and sir? Urgent report. Oh, come on. What now? The Security Bureau arrested 3 spies. I frowned. So? Handle it yourselves. That's literally your job. The officer looked uncomfortable. Well, one of the spies is a child. Under 5 years old. And they all have capital city accents. I blinked. 3 spies from the capital. One of them a toddler. Now, a normal person might connect the dots here. Mystery woman from 5 years ago. Royal jade pendant. Capital city origins. Shows up at my county office looking for a baby daddy. Has a small child with her. But me? The genius who reinvented gunpowder, built cannons from scratch, and turned a swamp into a superpower? I just sighed and said, from the capital, huh? Interesting. Let's go take a look after our bath. Zhang Wei gave me a look. I gave him a look back. Neither of us went to the bathhouse. Because apparently, in Baliang County, you can't even win a war without immediately stepping into the next crisis. My security team just arrested the Empress of China and my daughter for espionage. This is going to be the longest day of my life, and it's not even dinner time yet. So me and Zhang Wei headed to the Security Bureau, but I told him not to rush. Let the bullets fly for a while, I said. Because if these spies came through Baliang Pass, that means someone on Zhang Wei's side leaked his travel plans. Same leak that got him captured by the barbarians. Zhang Wei narrowed it down to 2 people who knew he left, his deputy Lu Yong and his officer Su Hai. I told him we'd feed them fake information later and see who bites. Classic mole hunt. I watch a lot of spy movies in my head because I'm from the future and I have excellent memory. But if things go bad at the pass, I only brought a dozen men, Zhang Wei started. I'll lend you soldiers, I said. Easy. Next problem. Meanwhile, at my security bureau, things were getting colorful. My security chief, Niu Dajin, Big Tight Niu, and yes, that's really his name, had Ma Sanbao strapped to a tiger bench with his eyelids pinned open so he couldn't blink. The old eunuch was sobbing rivers. Then Neo Dajin slammed the table and called for the steel needles. Big fat ones. And goes, talk, or I'm shoving these under all 21 of your fingertips. Ma Sanbao, through his tears. 21? It's 10 fingers. The saying is 10 fingers connected to the heart. Neo Dajin grinned. Hands and feet. That's 20. Then why 21? Neo Dajin looked down. Ma Sanbao slammed his legs together so fast he gave himself whiplash. See, the man is a eunuch. If they find that out, his cover is blown, the Empress is exposed, everything falls apart. And he was already stress-leaking because, well, plumbing issues that come with the job. Over in the other interrogation room, it was more of a psychological chess match. My female interrogator, Xia Hongmei, smart, pretty, sharp as a razor, was working on the Empress. And credit where it's due, Hongmei was good. You say you're looking for your husband? Interesting story. But why would your husband come to this wasteland 5 years ago? Why no letters? Why no contact? You filed a report at the magistrate's office, which is exactly what a well-trained spy would do to create a cover story. You're beautiful, clearly highborn, and your excuses are full of holes. The Empress tried to stay calm, but Hongmei kept pushing. You really don't want this adorable little girl to grow up without her mother, do you? And little Huan, my daughter who I still don't know is my daughter, was shaking with fear but refused to cry. She balled up her tiny fists and said, "Don't you dare hurt my mommy. My mommy hasn't found my daddy yet. When my daddy gets here, he's gonna beat all of you up." Nobody in the room took a 4-year-old's threat seriously, obviously. But then they tried to physically pull Huan away from her mother, and the Empress went full dragon mode. Whatever imperial aura she'd been hiding just erupted, the kind of pressure that makes trained interrogators freeze mid-step. Even Hongmei hesitated. Next door, Ma Sanbao was screaming like a pig being slaughtered under Neo Dajin's tender care, and the Empress heard every shriek. She was shaking with rage. "If you hurt my people, I will make every one of you pay," Hongmei sighed. Everyone talks tough in here. They all end up begging. She was about to personally step in to separate mother and child when, "Greetings to the magistrate, Sir." The guards outside snapped to attention. Hongmei's face lit up. Perfect timing. The magistrate is here. Let's see how you spies handle him. And just like that, I walked into the building where my secret daughter was crying. My long-lost lover was ready to murder everyone, and her eunuch bodyguard was trying to hide the fact that he's missing equipment. I still had no idea what was waiting for me behind that door. But honestly, after today, parade, barbarian invasion, hostage crisis, sniper assassination, and a 20,000-kill victory all before sunset, how much worse could it possibly get? Famous last words. I walked into the interrogation room ready to crack some spies. Cool, calm, professional. The Lu Yuan special. Neo Dajin briefed me on the way in. The middle-aged guy fainted before we even started torturing him. Just saw the needles and peed himself unconscious. We had to give him heart medication. Wow, I said. World's worst spy. The woman, though, total ice queen. Won't break. Definitely a trained assassin. Cool. I love a challenge. Let me show these rookies how the master does it. I pushed open the door. Heard a little girl crying. "Mommy, don't be scared. Huan is here. Don't be scared." My heart did a tiny squeeze. Using kids as spies. Disgusting. These people have no shame. Then the little girl shifted, and I saw the woman's face. My brain crashed. Full system shutdown. Blue screen of death. Because sitting in my interrogation chair, holding a toddler, looking at me with those unmistakable eyes, was her. The woman. The woman. 5 years. 5 years of sleepless nights, missing person posters, homemade cigarettes smoked at midnight while staring at the moon like a lovesick idiot. And she was right here, in my security bureau, being interrogated as a spy. By my people. You. I pointed at her. That was all my mouth could produce. 4 U.S. Very eloquent. Very magistrate-like. Hongmei tried to warn me. "Sir, don't get too close. She's a trained killer." I walked right past her like she was furniture. My feet felt like they weighed 1,000 pounds each. My throat was closing up. 5 years of searching, and she just appears. In handcuffs. In my building. Are you okay? Do you know I've been looking for you for 5 years? The entire room went silent. Hongmei's face went through about 17 emotions in 2 seconds. She was putting it together. The spy's story about looking for her husband. The magistrate walking in and going weak in the knees. Oh no, oh no. The woman, my woman, lifted her chin and hit me with the coldest possible response. I didn't come looking for you. The child wanted to see who her father was. So I brought her. Processing. Processing. I looked at the tiny human in her arms. Then back at her. Then at the tiny human again. My baby? She's mine? You don't want her? Fine, I'll leave. I want her. She's mine. Nobody takes my daughter anywhere. I literally screamed that. In my own security building. In front of my entire intelligence staff. Zero composure remaining. The county magistrate who just outsmarted 100,000 barbarians was having a complete public meltdown over a 4-year-old. Hongmei almost fainted. The blood drained from her face so fast she probably got dizzy. She just realized she spent the last hour threatening to separate the magistrate's wife and child. She interrogated my family. She tried to grab my daughter. She called my woman a spy and a trained killer. Her career flashed before her eyes. My woman told the crying girl, Huan, look, it's your daddy. And oh, he's a bad man. He's the one who hurt mommy. I'll protect you, mommy. She wouldn't even look at me. She was terrified of the people in the room, thought I was one of them, and was trying to shield her mother with her tiny body. My heart shattered into approximately 10,000 pieces. Sweetheart, it's daddy. Please just turn around and look. You're not my daddy. I called for daddy during the parade, and he ignored me. He doesn't want me. OH. So during the parade, when she was on Ma Sanbao's shoulders screaming, Daddy, she'd actually seen me. On my stupid 9-horse chariot. And I just rolled past. Because the crowd was too loud, and I had no idea my child existed. I have never felt worse about anything in my entire life. Including the time I accidentally invented gunpowder wrong and blew up my own workshop. I tried everything. Soft voice. Promises. Begging. Nothing worked. One girl wouldn't look at me, the other wouldn't smile at me. I was dying inside. So I did what any emotionally overwhelmed man does. I found someone to blame. I spun around and glared at Neo Dajin with the fury of 1,000 suns. Who? Arrested. My wife and daughter. Neo Dajin's knees buckled so fast he practically teleported to the floor. SIR, I'm so sorry, SIR. Every single person behind him hit the ground like dominoes. We're sorry. We're all sorry. And then, and this is the part that confused me, Zhang Wei also dropped to his knees. Zhang Wei, what are you doing? I wasn't yelling at you. Get up. But Zhang Wei wasn't kneeling because he was scared of me. He was kneeling because he recognized her. See, while I was busy having a romantic crisis, Zhang Wei's military brain was doing what military brains do, analyzing the situation. Beautiful woman. Imperial aura. Capital city accent. Has a daughter that the whole court gossips about. A princess everyone calls, the wild child, because nobody knows who the father is. Zhang Wei put it together in about 3 seconds. The woman sitting in my interrogation chair was the Empress of the entire nation. And the wild father that the whole capital has been gossiping about for years? That's me. I'm the wild father. I accidentally fathered a princess. Zhang Wei tried to do a full imperial kowtow, but the Empress shot him a death glare that said, "Do not blow my cover." And the poor man froze mid-bow, like someone hit pause. He was kneeling there, brain melting, thinking. So the mystery man who knocked up the Empress. The scandal that's been rocking the imperial court for years. The wild father that every noble in the capital is dying to identify. Is my buddy? The county magistrate? The guy who just invited me to the bathhouse? Yeah, Zhang Wei. Welcome to MY life. It only gets weirder from here. Zhang Wei was frozen mid-kneel like a buffering video. The Empress gave him a tiny hand wave that basically said, "If you blow my cover, I will yind you." And the man understood instantly. When I went to help him up, he hit me with the lamest excuse in history. "Oh, my legs are just tired from riding all night." Haha, sure, buddy. Your legs got tired at the exact moment you saw my baby mama's face. Total coincidence. I turned to my security team. Explain. Now, Neo Dajin stuttered through the whole story, the bribery, the suspicious questions, the arrest. And honestly, they did their jobs correctly. If some stranger showed up spending gold coins asking about my military secrets, I'd want them arrested too. But still, they arrested my family. So I drew the line very clearly. From this moment forward, You will memorize this woman's face. This is my wife and my daughter. You will treat them exactly the way you treat me. Understood? Yes, SIR. And then every single person in the room started apologizing to her like their lives depended on it. Which, to be fair, they kind of did. Neo Dajin greets the madam. Madam, Red Plum was blind and foolish. Please punish me. A whole security department, on their knees, begging forgiveness from the woman they'd been interrogating as a spy 20 minutes ago. Then, the moment that broke me completely. Huan heard them calling me her daddy. She stopped crying. She lifted her little head. Those big eyes, still wet with tears, looked up at me. Daddy, you really came to save Huan. I swear something inside my chest physically cracked. I'm so sorry, baby. I didn't know you existed. I didn't know you were coming. Please give Daddy one more chance to make everything right. She looked at her mom for permission. Her mom gave the tiniest nod. And then this little creature opened her arms and launched herself at me. The second I held her, I felt it. Blood calling to blood. This was my kid. No DNA test needed, no questions asked. She even looked like a miniature me. Same face, smaller package. I held her like she was made of glass. Terrified of squeezing too hard. Terrified of ever letting go. Daddy, Huan missed you so much. I have so many things to tell you. She was bouncing in my arms, tears still drying on her chubby cheeks. Then she planted the world's loudest kiss on my face, MWH, and squealed. I don't have to talk to the painting anymore. I have a real daddy now. She'd been talking to a painting of me. Every day? For years. I am never emotionally recovering from this information. I kissed her back. She smelled like milk and sunshine and everything good in the world, and headed for the door. Reached out to hold her mother's hand. Got completely ignored. She walked right past me like I was a doorpost. Where is my man? She asked coldly. Right. Ma Sambao. The eunuch they'd been torturing next door. She walked into the other room and found him slumped on the tiger bench, seemingly unconscious. Ma Sambao. Wake up! His eyes snapped open instantly. This sneaky old fox had been faking IT the whole time, buying time, listening to everything through the wall. And the second he saw me, he exploded. You animal. Do you have any idea what she went through these 5 years? I've dreamed of finding you every single day so I could swallow you alive. Every humiliation, every tear, every cruel word she endured. I wanted to repay it to you 100 times over. He wasn't acting. This old man genuinely wanted to murder me with his bare hands. He'd raised her since childhood, treated her like his own daughter. And some random nobody had knocked her up and disappeared. From his perspective, I'm the villain. And honestly, he's not wrong. She calmed him down. He didn't know, Ma Sambao. Leave it. I looked at her standing there, calm, cold, distant, like none of this mattered. But I could see through it. The pressure she must have endured, raising a child alone, unmarried, in a society that treats that like the worst scandal imaginable. Her family probably treated her like a disgrace. And she bore all of it, alone, for 5 years. She gave me a daughter. She kept her alive. She raised her with love. And she never once came to find me until the child begged hard enough. I turned to Ma Sambao and spoke the most serious words I've ever said. Ma Sambao. Every responsibility that belongs to me, I accept. Every hardship they've suffered, I swear on my life to repay. If I break this promise, let me die the worst death imaginable. He glared at me. You think you're worthy of her? And I said, and I meant every syllable. If one person says she was wrong, I'll kill that person. If 100 people say she was wrong, I'll kill all 100. If the entire world says she was wrong, I'll kill the entire world. I'm just a nobody county magistrate. But for her and my daughter, I will burn this world to the ground. I will fight everyone. I don't care. The room went dead silent. Zhang Wei, who knows exactly how capable I am of following through on that threat, just nodded quietly. Ma Sambao shut up. He didn't like me, but he couldn't deny. That was a man talking. And her, my ice queen, for just one tiny fraction of a second, something flickered behind those cold eyes. Something warm. Something real. Then it was gone, locked away behind that imperial mask. Don't misunderstand, she said. I brought the child so she'd know her father exists. That's all. I don't need you. I'm not your wife. We happen to make a child together. Nothing more. Or are you planning to force me again? Ouch. She thinks I took advantage of her that night, when she was the one who was poisoned and I was trying to help. But fine. I deserved some punishment. 5 years of her suffering earns her the right to be as cold as she wants. I just smiled and said, I would never force you. But your future? I'm making that MY business whether you like it or not. Smooth? Not really. But it's honest. And honestly is all I've got right now. That and cannons. Lots and lots of cannons. I have a daughter. I have a daughter. I have a daughter. I couldn't stop saying it. I grabbed every person I saw on the way out of the security building and shoved Huan Huan in their face. Old Chow. Look, my daughter. Isn't she adorable? She looks just like me, Red Lady. My daughter. I'm a dad now. Ha! Eagle Eye. Actually, no. Get away. You're too ugly. You'll scare her. Eagle Eye scratched his mohawk, confused. Wait, where did a wife and kid come from? Old Chow the secretary was pulling his own beard out. Hold on. The woman who filed a missing husband report at the office this morning is our madam. Yeah? My staff processed my own baby mama's paperwork and then arrested her as a spy on the same day. Peak efficiency, team. Really proud of you all. Red Lady, though, she wasn't celebrating. She walked right up to Zhao Jinxiao and went full territorial wolf. I can feel it. You're not here with pure intentions. He is the sky of Baelyang, the hope of every person here. If you hurt him, even if he hates me for it, I will kill you. One life for one life. My girl didn't even blink. How devoted of you. Too bad, he doesn't see you that way. Red Lady's chest was heaving with rage, hand twitching toward her saber. Two women having a polite, murder-threatening conversation in my courtyard while I was inside, feeding my daughter candy, completely oblivious. Normal Tuesday. Inside, I was in heaven. I laid out every snack I had. Candied pastries, sugar crisps, treats you literally cannot find anywhere else in the world because I invented the recipes. Daddy, this is so yummy. Huan Huan's cheeks were puffed out like a chipmunk, eyes squeezed shut with joy. I could have watched her eat for the rest of my life. Baby, what's your last name? Zhao. What's your mommy's name? Mommy says I can't tell anyone, not even Daddy. Mommy said if I tell, she won't love me anymore. And she'll spank my butt. She actually reached back and covered her little butt protectively. Then Zhao Jinxiao walked in and Huan Huan panicked, slapping both hands over her own face. Mommy, I did not tell Daddy your name is Jinxia. I promise. I didn't. I turned to her mother with the biggest grin. Zhao Jinxia? Beautiful name. Reeds grow tall. White dew turns to frost. The one I seek stands beyond the water. I hit her with classical poetry. Smooth? I think so. She raised one eyebrow, which in her emotional range is basically a standing ovation. Then she spanked Huan Huan's, but gently. I told you not to talk, Daddy. Mommy hit me. I snatched that child so fast. Huan Huan peeked through her fingers at her mom with the smuggest face a 4-year-old has ever made. Pure. I have a bodyguard now, energy. Now here's something I didn't know. Her real name is Zhao Jinxia. But after she became Empress she changed it to Zhao Lingxiao because Jinxiao wasn't intimidating enough. So nobody in the capital would connect those names. My daughter just leaked classified imperial information for a piece of candy. Zhao Jinxia surveyed my room. Simple. One big bed, one desk buried in papers. Not luxurious at all. And on the wall, the portrait I'd painted of her from memory 5 years ago. The one I stare at every night like a pathetic lovesick fool. Aren't you worried your woman outside will be upset about that painting? Woman? You mean Red Lady? She's not my woman. She's not. 5 years ago I met you and my heart's been full ever since. I've been single this entire time. Now that I have you and Huan Huan, I'm definitely not looking at anyone else. She actually wavered for a second. I saw it. A tiny crack in that ice wall. But she sealed it right back up. There is nothing between us. I brought the child so she'd know her father. In a few days, we leave. I won't interfere with your life. Go find happiness. What if my happiness is you? Impossible. Stay here tonight. There's plenty of room. No. Zhao Huan Huan. We're leaving. Now. I don't wanna. I wanna stay with Daddy. Huan Huan death gripped my neck. If you don't come right now, I will spank you so hard. One more threat, and I'm going to have to intervene as her father, Zhao Huan Huan. Come here, or I swear you'll have a daddy but no mommy. That worked. Huan Huan reluctantly let go. But then, and this is why she's my daughter, a genius, she pulled the most brilliant move. Okay, Daddy, I'll go. But Mommy never said you couldn't follow us. She turned to me with big eyes. Come find me at the Fuyuan Inn tomorrow morning, okay? Come early, Zhao Huan Huan. Stop talking. Her mother dragged her away fuming. I tried to follow but got hit with, "If you follow us, I guarantee you'll never see us again." So I stood there watching them disappear around the corner. My daughter sold out her mom's hotel location for a piece of candy, leaked her secret name during a privacy briefing, and played us against each other like a tiny political mastermind. She gets the scheming from her mother. She gets the charm from me. The world is not ready for this child. The second they were gone, I went into full operation mode. Without turning around, I told Red Lady, "Tell Liosu, 24-hour shadow protection on both of them. Not a hair gets touched. Book out every inn around the Fuyuan. Every single one. Clear the whole neighborhood." Red Lady was silent for a moment. Then, "Yes, sir." "Oh, and Red Lady, starting today, your boss is officially courting his wife. This is now a military-grade operation. Full resources. No budget limit. I built a fortress. I invented cannons. I defeated 100,000 barbarians before lunch. But winning over one cold-shouldered woman who already has my child? This might be the hardest campaign of my life. And I'm all in." That night, I couldn't sleep. Not because of the barbarian battle or the hostage crisis or any of that nonsense. Because I have a daughter and she's sleeping in an inn instead of my house, and it was driving me crazy. I got up at the crack of dawn and cooked breakfast. My best dishes. From scratch. I'm a military tech genius who reinvented gunpowder. But that morning my most important mission was making the perfect sugar pastry for a 4-year-old. I knocked on Zhao Jinxia's door with a full meal carrier, grinning like an idiot. She opened the door looking like a goddess who just woke up, which was extremely unfair to my heart rate. "You didn't have to do this. The street food might not agree with her stomach. I made everything myself. You eat too." I tried very hard not to stare at her figure. Very hard. Then I went to the bed and found my daughter sleeping like a starfish. Arms and legs everywhere. Mouth slightly open, zero dignity. My genes for sure. "Little piggy, time to wake up. The sun's gonna burn your butt." Her eyelashes fluttered. "Didn't open. I brought your favorite sugar crisps. But if you don't wake up, I'm eating them all." Her eyes snapped open and she grabbed my hand. "Those are mine. You're a grown-up. You can't steal a child's food." I booped her nose. "Then don't fake sleep." I'd stayed up half the night getting a tailor to make her a custom outfit. When she put it on, she looked like a little porcelain doll. I was completely hypnotized. Then I pulled out a hair comb. I'd literally gone to someone's house at midnight and begged them to teach me how to braid a little girl's hair. Zhao Jinxiao raised an eyebrow. "How many women's hair have you braided before?" "None. I learned last night." "Can't you tell?" She watched me fumble with Huan's tiny silky hair like I was defusing a bomb. And I think she finally believed I wasn't some kind of player. Good. Because I am the opposite of smooth. I am a man who built cannons but cannot operate a hair tie. While I was doing this, Zhao Jinxia had this look on her face, just for a second, where she was watching us and her expression went soft. Like she was thinking something she didn't want to think. I know that look. That's the, maybe this isn't so bad, look. That's the what if look. I'm winning. Slowly. Like a siege. My specialty. After breakfast, I said, "Let's go. I'll show you two around the city." And then Red Lady appeared with my entire schedule and crushed my dreams. "Sir, you have 100 merchant caravans arriving this morning. Education reform meeting this afternoon. Military debrief tonight. Tomorrow is the prisoner trial and award ceremony. Also, the Great Scenery Empire is sending Princess Chongning, and the Great Xia Empire is sending Princess Yonghua, both arriving for the international conference. You specifically said this event cannot have any mistakes." She glanced at Zhao Jinxiao while saying all this. Subtle. Very subtle. About as subtle as a cannon. Now, here's what I didn't know. While I was hearing, busy schedule, Zhao Jinxiao was hearing, treason, treason, treason. Foreign princesses coming to My County. Enemy nation delegations? In her mind, this was confirmation that I was conspiring with hostile powers. She played it perfectly, though. Put on a shocked face. Foreign princesses? Coming here? You know that consorting with enemy nations is punishable by execution of your entire extended family, right? I waved her off like she'd just asked about the weather. Relax, it's just business. I'm earning foreign currency. Baliang is poor. We need trade partners. Besides, they wouldn't dare leak anything. And if the Empress tries to mess with me over it, I'll deal with her. I actually said, if the dog emperor tries anything, I'll make her regret it. To the Empress. While calling her a dog. To her face. I could practically see steam coming out of Zhao Jinxia's ears, but she held it together. Iron self-control, that woman. Probably fantasizing about 13 different ways to execute me. Then Chao the secretary ran in with more news. Sir, the Xia and scenery delegations arrived 2 days early. And also, Prince Duan's son is here too. That little punk came early too? Did they all plan this? Now, Prince Duan. Let me explain. He's a member of the imperial family. He and his son have been secret business partners of mine for years. Great guys. Very helpful for moving goods through official channels. I casually told Zhao Jinxia. Oh yeah, Prince Duan's family and I are close. I'll introduce you when his son gets here. She went completely still. What I did not know, because I apparently know nothing about anything important, is that Prince Duan is her uncle, her father's brother, the man who helped her seize the throne during the coup, her most trusted ally in the entire imperial family. And I just told her he's been secretly working with me. The rebel, the traitor, the man she's planning to arrest. Her uncle is my business partner. Her border general is my sworn brother. Her own daughter sold out her secret name for candy. Inside her head right now, my uncle is a traitor? The man who put me on the throne is working with this dog official who called me a dog. Is anyone in my empire actually loyal to me and me? I was just annoyed that my daddy-daughter day got interrupted by diplomacy. Priorities, people. I have them perfectly sorted. The international conference was starting and everyone showed up early because apparently nobody in the ancient world has heard of an RSVP. I rolled up to the welcome hall in my carriage with 100 armed soldiers, because I'm not an idiot. You don't walk into a room full of foreign dignitaries without looking like you could level a city. Which I can. The second I stepped out, chaos erupted. Lu Yuan, big brother. Over here. Princess Chongning of Great Scenery literally jumped out of her royal carriage and started waving at me like a fan at a concert. This woman is wearing a full imperial gown, phoenix crown, the works, and she's bouncing up and down like a teenager at a boy band show. Let me describe Chongning. Sharp phoenix eyes, flower petal makeup, red dress, and generous proportions. Very pretty. Also very loud. From the other carriage, Princess Yongle of Great Xia was watching this and seething. Shameless hussy, throwing away her dignity for a man. Then SHE got out of her carriage even faster. Adjusted her assets. Yongle has these fox-like bedroom eyes and a figure that makes geometry teachers weep. Her pink dress was doing structural engineering work that would impress my construction bureau. These two are the crown princesses of the two most powerful rival empires. And they're about to have a catfight over me. A county magistrate. In front of hundreds of international merchants. Chongning grabbed my hand. Big brother, am I pretty today? I accidentally glanced at her. Scenery. Swallowed hard. Yanked my hand back. We're in public. Behave. Yongle swooped in immediately. Unhand him. Grabbing men in public. Great Scenery truly has no manners. Then she did a graceful curtsy in front of me. It's been too long. Dear Lu Yuan. I trust you've been well? Chongning exploded. You fox. Stop pretending to be classy. Just because you have too big deal. If I push mine together, mine are bigger. Lu Yuan doesn't like shallow women like you. Okay. She really said that. Out loud. In front of hundreds of international diplomats and merchants. A crown princess just yelled about breast size at a trade conference. This is my life. Yongle fired back. Washboard. Tomboy. Vulgar. Savage. Uncultured. Then they both grabbed an arm each, and I found myself sandwiched between two princess-grade softnesses while they tried to physically drag me in opposite directions. Now, normally, a man might enjoy this situation. Two gorgeous princesses fighting over you. That's peak male fantasy. Any other year, I might have played along a little. But this year, I heard a cold laugh behind me. The temperature dropped about 30 degrees. I felt the back of my neck prickle with mortal danger. Zhao Jinxia was standing behind me, holding our daughter, watching two foreign princesses hang off me like ornaments. I ripped my arms free so fast I nearly dislocated both shoulders. Enough. Both of you. Look at yourselves. You're princesses. This is a trade conference, not a brothel convention. One more stunt like this and you're banned from next year's event. They both pouted. Chongning looked hurt. Yongle's seductive act crumbled into genuine anger. I don't care. My wife was right there. Well, not technically my wife, but the mother of my child, who already thinks I'm a treasonous womanizer. These two bimbos are not helping my case. Mommy, Huan Huan whispered, are those two ladies going to be my new stepmommies? Zhao Jianxia's voice could have frozen lava. They're not worthy. But I could feel her fury. Two enemy nation princesses throwing themselves at her baby daddy. The man she already suspects of treason. Who she already caught calling her a dog emperor. And now he's clearly on intimate terms with both rival empires' princesses. Her mental execution list for me was getting very long. Then, because this day wasn't complicated enough, a young man came sprinting across the courtyard screaming, Master Liu, I'm here, Prince Duan's son Zhao Ji, my student, the kid I've been secretly mentoring for years. He slammed into me with a flying hug that almost knocked me over. Master, I missed you so much. Kid, you're a grown man now. Act like it. He grinned his dopey grin. I grinned back. Then I had a brilliant idea. Time to introduce my family. I grabbed Zhao Ji's hand and proudly pointed at Zhao Jianxia and Huan Huan. Let me introduce you. This is my wife, your Shermu. And this is my daughter, your little Shimmy. Zhao Ji looked up, still grinning. Saw Zhao Jianxia's face. His grin evaporated like water on a hot skillet. His legs gave out. He dropped to his knees like someone cut his strings. Because Zhao Ji, Prince Duan's son, just realized that his beloved Master Lu's wife is his cousin, the Empress, the ruler of the entire nation, the woman his father helped put on the throne. And his teacher just introduced her as, your Shermu, your master's wife. The kid was kneeling there having a full existential crisis while I stood there confused, thinking, why does everyone keep falling to their knees around my wife? Is she that pretty? I mean, yes, but come on. Zhang Wei, knees. Now Zhao Ji, knees. At this rate, I'm going to need to install knee pads on everyone who meets this woman. What I still don't understand is why. But I'm starting to get a tiny suspicious feeling that Zhao Jianxiao might be slightly more important than she's letting on. Just a tiny feeling. Probably nothing. Zhao Ji saw Zhao Jianxiao's face, and his soul left his body. He was on his knees trying to say, Emperor, but I thought he was just being respectful to his new Shermu. Adorable kid. Wow, so polite. Here's a red envelope your Shermu prepared for you. I shoved a gift packet into his trembling hands. The kid looked like he was about to cry. Little did I know, he wasn't emotional about gaining a Shermu. He was terrified because his Shermu is his cousin the Empress, and I just casually demoted the ruler of the nation to your master's wife. Zhao Jinxiao played along beautifully though. Helped him up, smiled sweetly, and whispered something in his ear. Based on how white his face went, I'm guessing it was something like, tell him who I am, and I'll bury you. Zhao Ji nodded so fast his neck almost snapped. Thank you for the red envelope, Shermu, smart boy. He gets to live another day. Now here's where the day went completely off the rails. Both princesses saw Zhao Jianxia and Huan Huan and lost it. Chongning, Lu Yuan, where did they come from? You owe me an explanation, Yongla, looking Zhao Jianxiao up and down with pure contempt. You're desperate enough to pick up a widow with a kid? If you have needs, just come to me. The crowd was buzzing. Everyone knew I was single. These empires had investigated my background down to my shoe size. So their theory was that I must have adopted some random single mom because I was lonely. The consensus, Lu Yuan doesn't like young girls. He likes experienced women. Kinky. I was dying inside. Chongning went nuclear. If you wanted someone, you could have come to me. Why pick an old woman? Yongla thrust out her considerable advantages. Choose me. I'm clearly more comfortable. Two crown princesses were publicly arguing about who had the better body in front of hundreds of international merchants. Diplomacy at its finest. Behind me, I could feel Zhao Jianxia's killing intent radiating like a furnace. My daughter was watching two princesses fight over her dad with a bucket of popcorn expression. Then Chongning decided to go all in. Zhang Songyan, read my father's imperial decree. Now, the Great Scenery Empire's chief diplomat stepped forward and unrolled a scroll. The entire courtyard went silent. His Majesty the Emperor of Great Scenery hereby grants Lu Yuan the title of Marquis of Baoyang. Hereditary and permanent. 2,000 households of income. Purple gold crown. Gold fish badge. Permission to ride a 5-horse chariot. Permission to carry a sword in court. Exemption from bowing to princes. And a golden immunity plaque. The legendary get out of execution free card. The crowd was gasping. 2,000 households is Duke-level income for a marquis title. A 5-horse chariot, one less than the emperor himself. And an immunity plaque? Those are legendary. Most people never even see one. But the kicker, His Majesty commands that Princess Chongning be wed to Lu Yuan. Lu Yuan is additionally granted the rank of Grand General of the Northern Campaign, with full military authority over all northern territories. Translation: keep your city. Keep your army. We won't make you come to court. Here's our princess, a generalship, and essentially half our empire's northern border. Please, just be on our side. The scenery merchants went wild. If I accepted, they'd get first dibs on all my technology and trade deals. Yongla's face went white, then red. Then she screamed, "A marquis? That's the best scenery can offer? How cheap." Wangda, read OURS, an old eunuch stepped out. And not just any eunuch. This was Wangda, the great Xia Emperor's personal attendant. The man they call the Inner Chancellor. He came personally. That's how serious Great Xia was. Wangda unrolled his scroll and dropped the nuclear option. His Majesty the Emperor of Great Xia hereby grants Lu Yuan the title of King of Bailiang. The courtyard went so silent you could hear heartbeats. King. Not Marquis. Not Duke. King. Permanent dominion over Bailiang. Full autonomous governance. Military sovereignty. And of course, Princess Yongla shall be wed to Lu Yuan, from county magistrate to king. With a princess wife. Total sovereign authority over my territory. Basically everything I already have, but legal and with a royal title slapped on it. The crowd was having a collective stroke. Every merchant, every diplomat, every soldier in that courtyard was staring at the two scrolls like they were looking at the Holy Grail. ×2. Zhao Ji grabbed my sleeve in panic. "Master, don't. It's a trap. They have bad intentions." He shot a desperate look at Zhao Jinxia, his secret Empress cousin. Like, do something, they're stealing your man. And Zhao Jinxia, for the first time since she arrived, she looked genuinely scared. Not angry, not cold. Scared. Because she did the math. If I accept either offer, I'm no longer part of her empire. Bailiang switches sides. And Bailiang, the fortress with cannons, rifles, 1,000,000 people, and the army that just deleted half the barbarian nation before breakfast, would become her enemy's greatest asset. Her empire would be finished. And she couldn't offer me anything close to what they were offering. She is the emperor. She can't marry me. She already secretly has my child, and the whole court thinks it's a scandal. She can't give me a kingdom. I'd have to submit to her authority, and she's been planning to arrest me. 2 scrolls on the ground. 2 princesses batting their eyelashes. A kingship. A marquis title. 2 immunity plaques. 2 general commissions. 2 royal weddings. All I had to do was pick one. I looked at the scrolls. Looked at the princesses. Rubbed my hands together. Which one should I choose? The delegation from Dakian, Zhao Jinxia's empire, my empire, watched with desperate, dying eyes. Zhao Jinxia held her breath. Huan held her candy. I reached out my hand and said, "I choose," and that's where the chapter ends. I'm the one living this, and even I want to know what happens next. The whole courtyard was holding its breath. You could hear a pin drop. Hundreds of merchants, 2 princesses, 2 imperial delegations, my secret empress baby mama, and my terrified student, all staring at me like I was about to decide the fate of the world. Which, honestly, I kind of was. Zhao Ji threw himself on the ground crying. "Master, are you really going to abandon us?" Abandon Dakian. The Dakian merchants collapsed to their knees behind him. "Lord Lu, please. Think it over." Then Zhao Ji, this desperate, snot-nosed kid, turned to Zhao Jinxia. Shermo. Please, talk to him." The Dakian merchants joined in. "Madam, you're a citizen of Dakian too. You can't just watch him defect." And my girl, my ice queen, finally cracked. Not emotionally. Strategically. She looked at Zhao Ji and said, sharp as a blade, "Why are you begging me? Doesn't the Dakian emperor have anything prepared? Great Scenery has princesses. Great Xia has princesses. Does Dakian not have a single eligible princess? They can offer marquis titles and kingships. Can Dakian not offer the same?" She was giving Zhao Ji the most aggressive eye signals in human history. Blinking. Hand gestures. Everything short of writing. Fake a decree right now, on her forehead. But Zhao Ji, bless his stupid, honest, loyal heart, couldn't do it. Because he knew the Empress had never heard of me before this trip. There was no decree. There was no prepared offer. And if he faked one, the whole web of lies would unravel, and I'd find out that the imperial court had known about Baelyong all along through Prince Duan. So he just stood there, crying, saying nothing. The Dakian merchants watched their last hope blubber silently and felt their souls leave their bodies. No decree? Nothing? The emperor doesn't even care about someone like Lord Liu. At least a dukedom would be reasonable. Every word was a knife in Zhao Jinxia's chest. They were basically calling her the actual emperor, a blind, incompetent fool who can't recognize talent. And she couldn't defend herself without blowing her cover. The scenery and Siam merchants piled on gleefully. Wow, Dakian's emperor must have really high standards if even Lord Liu isn't good enough. Come to scenery, Lord Liu. We'll treat you like a god. No, come to Xia. Whatever scenery offers, we double it. Chongning grabbed my hand again. Big brother, Dakian doesn't appreciate you. I'll never let you feel unwanted. Marry me and I'll get you a kingship too. I promise. Yongla struck her power pose. Empty promises from a bankrupt empire. Only great Xia can give you what you truly deserve, my king. Ma Sanbao was whispering frantically to Zhao Jinxia. Your Majesty, he's not actually going to defect, right? Right? And Zhao Jinxia, the Empress, the ruler, the woman who conquered a throne, was standing there in genuine pain. For one terrible second, she actually considered revealing her identity, stepping forward and saying, I am the Emperor of Dakian. But she couldn't, because in her mind, I was already a rebel. If she revealed herself, I might just take her hostage, use her as leverage, seize the Emperor, command the lords. Classic warlord move. She was trapped, completely, totally trapped, by her own secrets, her own suspicions, and the fact that her most trusted uncle had been secretly allied with me for years. She was thinking, I should never have come to Baelyong. I should have stayed in the palace. Even if someone slit my throat in my sleep, at least I wouldn't have to watch this. My heart was breaking for my Dakian people. These merchants, Zhao Ji, they genuinely believed I might leave them. The desperation in their eyes was real. So I sighed, pulled my hands free from both princesses. Again, grabbed Zhao Ji by the collar and hauled him to his feet. What did I teach you? Men don't kneel. Kneel to heaven. Kneel to earth. Kneel to your parents. That's it. Look at you, sniveling, crying. Is that what I raised? Do you really think your teacher is the kind of man who sells out his country for a fancy title? Zhao Ji froze mid-sob. I looked him dead in the eyes and said, a dog doesn't despise a poor home. A son doesn't reject an ugly mother. Yeah, I've got plenty of complaints about Dakian. But I am Dakian. That's not something anyone can change. Not for a kingship. Not for a princess. Not for anything. The Dakian merchants erupted. Tears. Cheering. Pure joy. I turned to the two princesses. Ladies, I appreciate the offers. Tell your emperors thank you, sincerely. But I'm a simple man. No ambition. No desire to climb higher. Just leave me alone and I'm happy. Then, my favorite part. I walked back to Zhao Jinxia, scooped up Huan Huan with one arm, and held her up next to my face. See this? This is my daughter. Do we look alike, or what? Zhao Ji's brain finally engaged. He looked at Huan Huan, looked at me, looked at Zhao Jinxia, connected every dot. His eyes went huge. Then he screamed, identical, a perfect copy. The Dakian merchants, high on patriotic relief, screamed back, identical, same mold, and is my daughter cute? The cutest? Good eye, everyone. I grinned, then did something incredibly bold. I reached out and grabbed Zhao Jinxia's hand, in front of everyone. And this is my wife. The original. The one and only. Now tell me, is she beautiful? Zhao Ji, fully on board now. Shermu is the most beautiful woman in the world. Every Dakian merchant. The most beautiful woman in the world. Two princesses just got publicly rejected for a woman they called a widow with a kid 5 minutes ago. The look on their faces? Priceless. And Zhao Jinxia? She was staring at me. My hand was warm around hers. I just turned down a kingship. Two princesses. Unlimited wealth and power. I chose to stay in the country she rules, the country she thought I was betraying, and then stood in front of hundreds of people and told the world she was my wife. For the first time since she arrived in Baelyong, her cold mask cracked. Not anger, not suspicion, something softer, something warm. She didn't pull her hand away. And in that moment, surrounded by screaming merchants, crying students, furious princesses, and our daughter clapping with sugar crumbs on her face. I saw something in her eyes I hadn't seen in 5 years. Hope. Everyone who agreed my daughter is cute gets an extra chicken leg at dinner, I announced, squeezing Zhao Jianxia's cold little hand like a man who just won the lottery, which I basically did. Forget kingships, I'm holding her hand. In public. 5 years of dreaming, and it's finally happening. Ma Sanbao was breathing again. I could practically hear his internal monologue. Lucky for you, scumbag, or I'd have slit your throat tonight. The great scenery diplomat, Zhang Songyan, was fuming. Lu Yuan, are you sure you want to reject great scenery? I looked at him like he just asked if water was wet. Did your emperor consider my feelings when he wrote that decree? Did he ask me if I wanted to marry his daughter? No. Then why should I care? The Dacian merchants went wild. Clapping, cheering, pledging loyalty left and right. The Tianyuan Trade Guild follows Lord Lu from this day forward. The Four Seas Guild too, the World Commerce Guild. Suddenly, everyone wanted to be on my team. Dacian merchants who'd been crying in despair 5 minutes ago were now chest-bumping each other like they just won the World Cup. Zhang Songyan's face went through every shade of red and purple. Fine. Don't come crying to us later. Oh, buddy, you just threatened me. In My City, where I have cannons. I'm filing that away for later. One day I'm marching straight to your capital. Bookmark it. Then the old eunuch Wang De, Great Xia's inner chancellor, basically the second most powerful person in the entire empire, did something nobody expected. He smiled, looked at Zhang Songyan like he was garbage, and said, unlike some empires, Great Xia doesn't resort to petty threats. Lord Lu's patriotism is admirable. A man who doesn't love his own country doesn't deserve anyone's respect. Then he dropped to the floor. Full prostration. Forehead to the ground. The full 5-point bow. The entire courtyard went silent. This man bows to one person, the Xia Emperor. That's it. And he just did it to me. A county magistrate. In front of hundreds of witnesses. Every Dacian person present stood a little taller. That's what our boy is worth. Enemy empires literally prostrating themselves. Zhang Songyan looked like he swallowed a lemon wrapped in nails. I helped Wang De up and smiled. Tell your emperor, Bailiang looks forward to deeper cooperation with Great Xia. Not allegiance. Not marriage. Just business. On my terms. Wang De understood perfectly, and he was delighted, because even maybe, from me was worth more than sceneries. Take it or leave it. Yongla preened at Chongning. See that? That's what real diplomacy looks like. Chongning, I will cut those things off your chest and feed them to your dogs. These princesses, man. International relations at its finest. I shooed everyone toward the guest house before actual violence broke out. Everybody settle in. Dinner tonight. My staff will handle everything for the next 2 days. Both princesses tried to follow me home. Chongning, can I come with you? Yongla, let me give you a shoulder massage. I felt Zhao Jianxia's fingernails dig into my palm like tiny daggers. Nope. Busy. Goodbye. I grabbed Zhao Ji by the collar and dragged him toward my carriage before either princess could latch on again. In the carriage, things got interesting. Zhao Jianxia was sitting across from me, ice-cold face, and said, how long are you planning to hold my hand? My face went red. Your hands are cold. I'm warming them up. Let go. Okay. I released her hand like a sad puppy dropping a toy. The whole carriage went awkwardly silent. Everyone just staring at each other. Then Huan, my little angel, my traitor daughter, leaned into my ear and whispered, Daddy, Mommy's just shy. Next time hold her hand when there's fewer people around. Zhao Huan. What are you saying? EK. Huan buried her face in my chest. Then, muffled, when Daddy held Mommy's hand, she smiled like 3 times. I am disowning you. Pretend I never gave birth to you. I was staring at Zhao Jianxia's angry but blushing face, and my brain stopped working again. You're so beautiful, even when you're mad. Those 2 princesses can't compare to your pinky Tioi. Her face went from pink to crimson. Say something that creepy again, and I'm leaving. I slammed my hand over my mouth. Then slammed my other hand over Huan's mouth. Father and daughter sat there, muzzled, looking pathetic. Zhao Ji made the mistake of laughing. One look from Zhao Jianxia, and he went from laughing to funeral face so fast he probably pulled a muscle. The kid literally had to mentally replay every sad moment of his life to stop grinning. Humph. Satisfied, Zhao Jinxia turned to the window. She didn't know that her earlobes, her neck, and the back of her ears were all pink. My daughter sees everything, and she was right. Her mommy was shy. Not angry. Shy. I am making excellent progress. After lunch, I got Zhao Ji settled in. He's staying at my place since he's basically family. Then I had to run off to work because these early arriving delegations ruined my entire schedule. The trial and award ceremony got pushed to tomorrow. With my wife and daughter now publicly known, I obviously couldn't leave them in a random inn. So they moved into my compound. Safer. Closer. And it meant I got to see Huan before bed, which was the real reason. I headed out to handle business, leaving Zhao Jinxia and sleeping Huan at home. And the second I was gone, Zhao Jinxia summoned Zhao Ji to the garden pavilion, sat him down, poured him tea, and said with the gentleness of a guillotine, "Talk. Tell me everything." Poor Zhao Ji. The kid was about to get interrogated by the Empress herself, not as his cousin, not as his Shermu, but as the ruler of the nation demanding answers about why her own uncle has been secretly allied with a rebel for years. And I was across town reviewing trade permits, completely unaware that my student was about to spill every secret I've ever trusted him with. Being a genius with cannons is great. Being a genius with women in politics? I'm still working on that part. So while I was across town buried in paperwork, because apparently running a million-person city, hosting international trade conferences, and courting the love of my life simultaneously requires actual work, things were happening at my house that I had zero clue about. I found out later what went down, and honestly, it explains a lot. The second I left, Zhao Jinxia sat Zhao Ji down in my garden pavilion and turned into a human lie detector. Zhao Ji hit the floor immediately. "Big sis, I mean Shermu. I'm sorry, get up. Someone might see." "I can't. My legs won't work." "Cramp. Definitely a cramp. Get up or you'll never stand again." He was on his feet in 0.2 seconds. Oh wow, miracle recovery, this kid. I taught him military strategy and advanced economics. But courage? That's still a work in progress. Although what happened next proved me wrong about that. She grilled him on everything. How we met, what we do together, why we kept it secret. And Zhao Ji, to his credit, told the truth. For years ago, his father came to inspect the northern border. Found me out here with a tiny, starving population. I needed supplies. His dad needed money. We made a deal. I sell him premium goods, the finest tea, pure refined salt, white sugar, and he keeps quiet about Baoyang. Now here's the part that apparently rocked Zhao Jinxia's world. Those goods I'd been selling? They went straight to funding the imperial government. The refined salt in the palace kitchens? Mine. The sugar the court officials eat? Mine. The tea the Empress drinks every morning? Mine. For years ago, after the coup emptied the treasury, the empire was so broke they couldn't even pay soldiers. It was Zhao Ji's father, Prince Duan, who showed up with hundreds of thousands in silver to save the day. And where did that money come from? Me. A dog official in a swamp county she didn't even know existed. The Empress's entire financial recovery was built on MY products, laundered through her uncle's trade network, and she had no idea. Then Zhao Jinxia pushed harder. So he's a rebel. Private army, illegal trade, foreign connections, and this is where Zhao Ji grew a spine. My boy stood up to the Empress. The kid who fakes leg cramps and cries at the drop of a hat actually fought back. Don't call him a rebel. In 200 years of Dacian history, Baoyang County went through a new magistrate almost every year because they all died or got kidnapped by barbarians. Nobody wanted the job. My teacher came here alone and built the greatest city in the world. Scenery and Xia Bow to him. You can call his methods unconventional, but you cannot say he's disloyal, she threatened him. He didn't budge. Even if you break my legs, I'll say the same thing. My father told me, Dacian's hope might rest on Master Lu. For years ago, he predicted the world would fall into chaos. Everything he predicted is coming true. Even if I die, I have to keep him safe. My student said that. The kid I taught. The kid I picked up by the collar and dragged around. He was willing to defy the Empress, his own cousin, for me. I'm not crying. There's dust in my eye. Cannon powder dust. Very manly dust. Zhao Jinxia was apparently shaken. Not because she believed him. She's too stubborn for that. But because everyone she trusts is choosing me over her. Her uncle. Her cousin. her border general, her own daughter. One by one, every person in her inner circle has fallen into my orbit. She's the emperor of the whole nation, and she's wondering if she's really been that bad at her job. Which, from what I can tell, she hasn't. She inherited a disaster. Coup. Empty treasury, enemies everywhere. She's been fighting for survival just like me. We're basically the same person on different scales, and neither of us knows it yet. She told Zhao Ji to shut up, forget they ever spoke, and play along. Then footsteps approached, and she snapped into normal wife mode instantly. That's when Luo Bing showed up, my personal tailor. Absolute knockout. The kind of curves that make architecture jealous. She walked in with her signature hip swing that could cause traffic accidents and bowed to Zhao Jinxia. Madam, I'm Luo Bing, the master's personal seamstress. He asked me to make you a custom gown for tonight's banquet. Zhao Jinxia gave her the look. Then gave Zhao Ji the look. Then looked at Luo Bing's everything, and said flatly, "So he thinks I'm not presentable enough? No. No. That is not what I meant. I just wanted my woman to have a beautiful dress. Is that a crime? I'm trying to be romantic. But I wasn't there to defend myself. I was at a trade meeting, signing import agreements, completely unaware that my tailor's hip measurements were about to become evidence in my ongoing trial for being a suspicious dog man with too many pretty women around him. Note to self. Next time I send someone to measure my almost wife for a dress, maybe pick the ugly tailor. That I don't have an ugly tailor. Everyone in my county is suspiciously attractive. This is my own fault somehow." So earlier that afternoon, Luo Bing, my tailor, delivered the dress I commissioned for Zhao Jinxia. Custom-made. Top-quality fabric. The finest craftsmanship in Baoyang. Zhao Jinxia's reaction? The slit is too high. The heels are too tall. I look like a barbarian. I'm not wearing this. I tried to be smooth about it. Then don't. Wear whatever's comfortable. She got Angier IR. Apparently agreeing with her was also wrong. I cannot win with this woman. I literally cannot. She then announced she wasn't coming to the banquet. And she wasn't letting Huan come either. Fine. I'll go alone. To my own party. Where 2 foreign princesses are waiting to jump me. Without my wife there to act as a human shield. Great plan, everyone. I cleaned up, put on my custom Zhongshan suit. Very sharp, very modern, I invented this entire fashion category and headed to the Star Terrace reception hall. Now, the Star Terrace is where I host all foreign dignitaries, and this year I had a surprise for them. See, I finally cracked electrical lighting. The centerpiece of the hall was a massive crystal chandelier powered by actual electricity. Bright as daylight. In an era where people think fancy candles are cutting-edge technology, the merchants walked in and their brains melted. It's brighter than mermaid oil lamps from ancient legends. Don't stare directly at it. My eyes are burning. My reception staff were rolling their eyes at these country bumpkins. Welcome to the future, gentlemen. We have light bulbs now. Changning was already scheming in her corner. That's called an electric lamp. We must secure this technology at the conference. Yongla was in her corner, adjusting her dress. And when I say adjusting, I mean she basically showed up wearing half a dress. Strategic deployment of assets. The girl came to this banquet armed for war. Her plan? Lu Yuan rejected me publicly because there were too many people. Tonight, privately, I will get him to accept. I'll make him take the decree even if it's in secret. Wangda whispered. Princess, I'm sorry you have to lower yourself. Lower myself? Please. A man this impressive? Any woman would want him. The only thing I'm worried about is that tomboy stealing him first. Then someone announced my arrival, and both princesses launched at me like heat-seeking missiles. Changning grabbed my left arm. Yongla grabbed my right arm and pressed her entire body against me. Her perfume hit my nose. Her assets engulfed my arm like quicksand. Warm, soft, impossibly generous quicksand. I looked left. Big. I looked right. Very big. My brain started to short-circuit. I'm a man of science, but I'm still a man. Ladies, I have a wife and child. Please behave. Changning, is she higher status than me? Does she love you more than I do? Yongla literally grabbed my hand and placed it on her rear end. Feel this. This is a body built for giving you sons. I yanked my hand back like I'd touched a hot stove. Which, technically, I had. These two are menaces. International menaces. If their fathers knew what their precious princesses were doing right now, there would be wars. One more inappropriate touch and you're banned from Baelyang. They pouted, then went for the emotional attack instead. Your wife doesn't even smile at you. She clearly doesn't love you. If she cared, why isn't she here tonight? At the most important event of the year, woman's intuition, she doesn't treat you well, does she? That actually stung, because they weren't wrong. Zhao Jianxia had been cold. She did refuse to come. She was keeping me at arm's length despite everything I'd done. I went quiet, just for a moment. But the princesses smelled blood. They were moving in for the kill when, Master Shermu is here. Zhao Ji burst through the doors carrying Huan Huan, grinning like Christmas came early. Everyone turned to the entrance. And there she was, Zhao Jianxia, in the dress. The high-slit, high-heeled, too revealing, looks like a barbarian, dress that she swore she would never wear. She walked through that doorway like she owned the building, like she owned the city, like she owned the entire world. Every step was precise. Every movement was deliberate. The chandelier light caught her at exactly the right angle. Every man in that room forgot how to breathe. I could hear synchronized gulping. Dozens of atoms, apples bobbing in unison. Grown men, war merchants, foreign diplomats, hardened traitors, turned into slack-jawed idiots simultaneously. Good heavens. She's too beautiful. Both princesses' faces went ice cold. Woman's intuition was screaming at them. This one is dangerous. This one is on a completely different level. And me? I was standing there with my mouth open, suit suddenly feeling too tight, heart hammering so hard my chandelier was probably vibrating. She said she wasn't coming. She said the dress was too revealing. She said the heels were too high. But she came anyway. She put on the dress. She wore the heels. She walked into a room full of foreign royalty and international power players. Into a room where two princesses were literally hanging off her man. And she showed up looking like she'd been sent by the gods to remind everyone what real beauty looks like. She came for me. And in that moment, every king, every duke, every prince in the world could have offered me their entire kingdom, and I wouldn't have traded it for the look on her face as she walked toward me. Chongning and Yongla could fight over me all they want. They never stood a chance. Not for a single second. Not against her. She showed up. She actually showed up. Wearing the dress. The high-slit qipao. The red heels. The whole package. The dress she called barbaric. The heels she said she couldn't walk in. She walked in like she'd been born in them. Her eyes were deep like starlight. Her skin was porcelain. Her lips were cherry blossoms. And that qipao fit her like it was painted on by angels who really understood the female form. Every man in the room swallowed simultaneously. I'm talking audible gulping. A symphony of desperate throat noises. Channing's hotness? Irrelevant. Yongla's weaponized cleavage? Forgotten. Zhao Jianxia walked in and made two crown princesses look like background extras in her movie. She walked straight to me, didn't even glance at the princesses, and hooked her arm through mine like she'd been doing it for 20 years. Sorry I'm late. The casual dismissal. The zero eye contact. The way she treated two of the most powerful women on the continent like they were furniture. Both princesses were hyperventilating with rage. Not late at all. Perfect timing. I leaned in and whispered, the qipao fits perfectly. You look incredible. Her heartbeat sped up. I could feel it through her arm. But she just rolled her eyes. I only came because Huan Huan wanted to see the fireworks. Don't flatter yourself, sure. The fireworks. That's why you spent 2 hours getting ready and walked in looking like you were about to conquer a civilization. I raised my glass to the room. Welcome to Baelyang County, everyone. To our honored guests, T.O. Lord Lu. Hundreds of glasses clinked. And then, my favorite part of every international conference, the money started flying. Lord Lu. The exclusive rights for Burning Blade liquor. Time to re-auction, right? 3-year contract expired. Burning Blade is my premium spirit. 3 years ago, the Great Sceneries Fortune Commerce Guild paid 500,000 silver taels for exclusive distribution. They made $2 million in profit. The room erupted into a feeding frenzy. 600,000, 65,000 for 2.5 years, 700,000 for 1 year, 750,000. These guys were ready to kill each other over booze rights. Only reason they didn't throw punches was the armed soldiers standing every 10 feet. Hard to start a brawl when there's a rifle pointed at your kidneys. Zhao Jianxia's arm tightened on mine. I could feel her shock. She'd actually drunk Burning Blade before, thought it was some famous scenery import. Turns out she'd been drinking MY liquor this whole time. From MY County. Sold through her uncle's network. And she had no idea. Then the merchants started piling on. Don't forget the refined salt auction. And the white sugar. And the tea. Each one worth hundreds of thousands. These grown men were literally begging me to take their money. And I could feel Zhao Jianxia doing math in her head. Painful, soul-crushing math. She's the Empress. She spent years scraping together pennies. Begging merchants for donations. Stretching every coin until it screamed. Her treasury has rats living in it because there's nothing else in there. And here I am, a county magistrate, with merchants throwing millions at my feet like it's nothing. Then Wang Debao, the head of Great Xia's Wanbao Guild, pointed at my chandelier and changed the game completely. Lord Liu, last year you had gas lamps. Those alone revolutionized lighting across 3 empires. But this, he stared up at my electric chandelier with religious devotion. This makes gas lamps look like fireflies next to the sun. Is this going up for auction? The room went nuclear. If he sells it, I'm going all in. Bankruptcy is worth it. Both princesses locked eyes across the room. One shared thought. We must have this technology. The bidding started before I even said yes. 300,000, 500,000, 800,000. In the time it takes to blink, the price hit 2 million taels. For a light bulb. Well, for the exclusive manufacturing rights to electrical lighting in a world that still uses candles. But still, the Dacian merchants panicked and looked at Zhao Ji. World Prince, do something. Are we competing or not? Zhao Ji was sweating. Let's wait. Ma Sanbao looked like his spirit had left his body. One liquor deal, nearly 1 million. Salt, sugar, tea, another few million. Electric lights, 2 million and climbing. My little county's annual revenue was exceeding the entire Dacian Empire's tax income. He was doing math he didn't want to do. Reaching conclusions he didn't want to reach. The rebel dog official was richer than the emperor. Zhao Jianxia's grip on my arm was getting painful. Her nails were basically performing acupuncture through my sleeve. Inside her head was just one number echoing on repeat. 2 million. 2 million. 2 million. She could fund her entire military reform with that. Pay every soldier's back wages. Rebuild the capital's infrastructure. Feed the northern provinces through winter. All the problems she's been losing sleep over for years, solved, with the pocket change from one of my auction items. And me? I looked at the screaming merchants, waved my hand casually, and said, 2 million? You think I'm a beggar? Zhao Jianxia's nails drew blood. I'm almost sure of it. The Empress of the nation was clinging to the arm of the richest man in the known world, watching him dismiss 2 million silver like it was pocket lint, while her own empire couldn't afford to replace the candles in her palace. And this man, this impossibly wealthy, impossibly powerful, technology hoarding, army commanding, princess rejecting lunatic? He chose her. Over everything. Over 2 kingdoms and 2 princesses and unlimited power. He's either the smartest man alive or the dumbest. Jury's still out. But my arm? Definitely bleeding. 2 million? You think I'm a beggar? Yeah, I said that. And I meant it. Because what these people didn't know yet was that the chandelier was just the appetizer. Chongning slinked over doing her cutesy voice. Big brother, since we're friends, maybe a discount? I'll throw myself in as a bonus gift. Yongla was not having it. You call that a gift? Your 2 ounces of nothing? Lu Yuan doesn't want discount meat. 240,000, plus me, no strings attached. Chongning. 300,000 plus me. Yongla. 400,000. These 2 princesses were literally bidding against each other using money and themselves as the product. The price hit 5 million taels, and both empires' diplomats were having cardiac events trying to stop them. 5 million. For a light bulb. But honestly, even that was too cheap. Because the light bulb isn't the product. I raised my hand, and the room went quiet. The chandelier is just a side product. A byproduct. The real product, the core offering at this year's international conference, is what powers it. I paused for dramatic effect. Because I earned it. Electricity. Dead silence. 500 confused faces. Wang Debao squinted. Sir, do you mean? Like lightning? From the sky? Exactly like lightning from the sky. I figured out how to control it. You could have heard a pin drop. Then everyone's brain exploded simultaneously. Lightning is God's weapon. It's divine punishment. It's what the heavens use when they're mad at you. And I just casually told 500 people that I tamed it. Like a pet. Zhao Ji grabbed my sleeve. Master, are you serious? Do you have some kind of magic artifact? Like in Journey to the West. I just smiled mysteriously. Let them think I'm a wizard. Doesn't hurt my brand. Here's the deal, I said. I can transmit this electricity to your territories. With it, you can power lights, and many other things. Lighting is just the beginning of. But electricity isn't free. I held up one finger. 10 taels per unit. 1 unit powers a standard lamp for about 1 day. This year, Bailiang can export approximately 1 million units. First come, first served. Let me do the math for everyone who froze up. 1 million units. 10 taels each. That's 10 million taels per year. The room went so quiet I could hear Ma Sanbao slap himself across the face behind me. The old eunuch was literally hitting himself trying to wake up from what he assumed was a nightmare. 10 million taels. For context, the entire Dacian Empire's annual tax revenue in silver is about 3 million. My electricity bill alone would triple the Empire's income. And this was just one product. Add the liquor, the salt, the sugar, the tea, the gas lamps, and whatever else I'm auctioning. We're talking about enough money to rebuild civilization. Chongning went quiet. First time all night. Yongla was chewing her lip, staring at me with a new kind of hunger, not romantic. Financial. I could see her calculating. If she married me, all this money becomes hers. Her father would literally sell her for a fraction of this. Wang Debao recovered first. Sir, 20,000 units. I want 20,000 units right now. 15,000 for me. 10,000. The hall erupted into absolute chaos. Every merchant screaming numbers. Spit flying. Faces turning purple. Because even at 10 taels per unit, they'd resell at 20 and double their money instantly. This was better than gold mines. Better than anything. Zhao Ji was shaking the Dacian merchants. Bid. Bid something. Get US electricity. And Zhao Jinxia? She was doing the math that was destroying her. 10 million taels. Her empire makes 3 million in a good year. And this year, with droughts, earthquakes, floods, and famine, tax revenue dropped by half. Her people are starving. Her soldiers are unpaid. Her treasury echoes when you walk through it. 10 million taels could save everything. Everything. Feed the northern provinces. Pay the army. Rebuild the infrastructure. Turn her dying empire around overnight. And it's all sitting right here, on the arm she's currently holding. In the county she was planning to destroy, produced by the man she was going to execute. She gripped my arm so tight, I think she left permanent marks. Then I waved my hand. Tonight we eat, drink, and watch fireworks. No more money talk. Too vulgar. The auction happens at the conference. Everyone competes fairly then. 500 merchants looked at me like I'd just pulled a steak away from starving dogs. Their faces went gray. Some looked like they'd witnessed a death in the family. I dangled 10 million taels in front of them and said, nah, let's party first. The cruelty. The absolute power move. Then I snapped my fingers. The band started playing. The lights shifted to something soft and romantic. And I turned to Zhao Jinxia. I stepped back, gave her a small bow, extended my hand. Would this beautiful lady honor me with a dance? Every eye in the room locked onto her. I could see Chongming and Yongla sprinting over to intercept. Zhao Jinxia looked at my hand, looked at the two princesses closing in. Then she placed her hand in mine. I pulled her close, one hand on her waist, her hand on my shoulder. Our faces inches apart. I could feel her breathing, smell her perfume, see the tiny pulse at her throat beating fast. Relax, I whispered. It's a waltz. Bailiang's specialty. Just follow my lead. Who says I'm nervous? She shot back. But her fingers were trembling. We started moving. The music swelled. The chandelier above us scattered light like captured stars. And the two most powerful princesses in the world stopped dead in their tracks, watching us dance, knowing they'd already lost. Then she asked, very quietly, without looking at me, those two princesses love you so much. Why didn't you accept? And right there, spinning slowly under my electric chandelier, in front of 500 people who'd kill to be me, holding the woman I've searched for across 5 years and 2 lifetimes. I had the perfect answer ready. But the chapter ended before I could say it. Again, this author is killing me, and I'm the main character. We were dancing. Her hand on my shoulder. My hand on her waist. the chandelier scattering starlight above us. And she asked the question I'd been waiting for. Why didn't you accept those princesses? I have a wife and daughter. Why would I said, breathing in the scent of her hair. Besides, I'm a Dacian man. I don't sell my country for a crown. She went quiet for a second, then pushed harder. Both empires worship you. Your own emperor treats you like you don't exist. That doesn't bother you. How can she reward me when she doesn't even know what I've been doing? It's not her fault. I told Zhao Ji to keep it secret. Then and I'm not proud of this, rested my chin on her shoulder. Because the dance was slow and she smelled amazing and my impulse control was at approximately 0%. She stomped on my foot. Ow. Ballroom dancing requires chin-on-shoulder contact. It's totally norm. Do I look blind to you? Fair point. I was pushing my luck. I reluctantly lifted my head and tried to redirect the conversation before she broke my other toes. Look, I don't want to be a marquis or a general. Court politics? Disgusting. I'd rather be a little king in my own corner. That's cowardice. That's laziness. Every great man dreams of serving his country, and this is where I got real with her. Maybe too real. Patriotism doesn't require a megaphone. I can't save a whole nation, so I save a county. If I can't save a county, I save a village. If I can't save a village, I save whoever's in front of me. But first, I have to keep myself alive. Going to the capital means court politics, backstabbing, and misery. Here, I decide everything. I shape this place however I want. No emperor telling me what to do. I paused. And now I have one more job, protecting you and Huan. She called me a coward, said it was all excuses. But I could feel her pulse through our connected hands, and it was racing. Because she knew I wasn't lying. Every word was honest, selfish, and completely real. Then she tried a different angle. What if I asked you to go to the capital? To serve the country? Then who runs Baelyang? A million people depend on me. I can't hand that to anyone else. You have the ability. Why won't you even try? Too tiring. Managing one county is already killing me. The capital would put me in my grave. I could literally feel her wanting to bite me. She was vibrating with frustration. Here she is, the secret empress, trying to recruit the most capable man in her empire. And he keeps saying, nah, sounds like too much work. Then she tried something bold. Don't you want to know who I really am? My heart sped up. Of course. But if you want to tell me, you will. I won't force it. My family has connections to the court. Oh, what position does your dad hold? Actually, you know what? Tell him to quit. Dacian is going down the toilet. The whole dynasty's gonna collapse within 3 years, maybe 1. Bring your family here. I'll protect all of you. She looked at me like she wanted to commit murder. Right. I just told the Emperor of Dacian that her empire is doomed, her government is useless, and her dad should resign. To her face. While dancing with her. Is it the Ministry of Finance? I guessed. Because their books must be a nightmare. Stop talking. She pulled away from the dance. Clearly furious. I'd basically told her that her life's work, ruling an empire, surviving a coup, holding a nation together through famine and war, was pointless. That she should just give up and move to my county. Not my smoothest moment. She stared across the room where Zhao Ji was galloping around with Huan on his back, while Ma Sanbao chased them screaming, "Slow down, you'll drop the princess." I mean, the little miss. Then the music stopped. The lights came back up. The princesses were sulking in a corner, aggressively drinking. And then, boom. The sky outside exploded with color. My fireworks display kicked off. Half an hour of the most spectacular pyrotechnics this world has ever seen. Colors that don't exist in nature, patterns that look like magic, explosions so beautiful they make people cry. I pulled Zhao Jinxia to the best viewing spot on the terrace. Red Lady and Eagle, I cleared a private area around us. I reached for a cigarette out of habit, then saw her face and put it back. Real men don't give their family secondhand smoke. That's a rule. She watched the fireworks in silence. At first the explosion startled her. She'd never seen anything like this. Then her eyes went wide, then soft, then something I'd never seen in them before. Wonder. Pure, unguarded wonder. Like a little girl seeing magic for the first time. For 30 minutes, the Ice Queen forgot she was an empress. Forgot I was a traitor. Forgot everything except the sky full of impossible colors that I'd made just for her and our daughter. After the show ended and the guests left, I carried a zonked-out Huan home. The kid was draped over my shoulder like a tiny drunk, completely unconscious, still clutching a sugar crisp in her fist. I was about to bring her to their room when she tightened her arms around my neck in her sleep and mumbled, "Daddy, I want to sleep with you. Can you and Mommy both sleep with me? Please." My heart liquefied. I glanced at Zhao Jinxia, already mentally preparing my excuse. "Sorry, sweetie. Mommy probably needs her space. Maybe tomorrow we can." "Fine. I'll stay too." I turned so fast my neck cracked. What? I said fine. "I'll sleep with you," with Huan Huan. To help her sleep. Don't get ideas. Don't get ideas. She's telling me not to get ideas. The woman who just agreed to sleep in my bed. In my room. Next to me. My brain produced exactly one thought. What? My second thought. Is this real life? Did I die during the barbarian battle, and this is heaven? Did I accidentally inhale gunpowder fumes, and I'm hallucinating? Huan Huan mumbled happily in her sleep, burrowing deeper into my neck. Zhao Jinxiao walked past me toward my bedroom without making eye contact. Her ears were red. Her neck was red. Everything above her collar was the color of my fireworks. I stood there holding my daughter, mouth open, watching the most powerful woman in the world walk into my bedroom, and I thought, 2 days ago, I was a single man with cannons and a drinking problem. Now I have a daughter, an empress, 2 stalker princesses, an electricity empire, and apparently a bedtime story to tell. Life comes at you fast in Balian County. She agreed to sleep in my room. With me. Well, with Huan Huan between us. But still. Same bed. Same room. Same blanket. "This is only to help Huan Huan sleep," she announced with the warmth of a glacier. Nothing else. Totally. Absolutely. 100% understood. Inside my head, fireworks. More fireworks than the actual fireworks show I just threw. Huan Huan discovered the mattress and immediately started using it as a trampoline. "Daddy, this bed is bouncy. That's a Simmons mattress, sweetheart. Invented it this year. Spring-loaded core, premium palm fiber padding. Lasts 15 years minimum." Zhao Huan Huan. "You'll break the bed. It's fine, baby girl, bounce all you want. Daddy'll make a new one." Zhao Jinxia glared at me, then sat on the edge. Her expression shifted from annoyed to confused. Why is it so soft? How does it bounce? Internal springs. No other country in the world can manufacture them. The metallurgy required. You underestimate people. I smiled and said nothing. She can doubt me all she wants. Show me another civilization with industrial-grade spring steel, and I'll eat my own cannon. Huan Huan crashed hard. She curled up against me, grabbed a fistful of my shirt, and started talking in that sleepy mumble that destroys fathers. "Daddy, I've never been this happy before. Usually I play by myself. Mommy's always busy. Those people are so mean to us. Sometimes I don't even cry because I don't want Mommy to be sad. I just hide under the blanket and cry alone." My heart didn't just break. It shattered. Then the pieces broke into smaller pieces. Zhao Jinxia jumped in defensively. "It's not that I ignore her. I know," I said quietly. And I meant it. I could see it in her eyes. The guilt, the exhaustion, the 5 years of doing everything alone. I put a finger to my lips. Shoo. Then I started humming a lullaby. Something soft and warm. A melody from my past life that doesn't exist in this world. "Little baby, close your eyes. In your dreams I'll be right there." Huan Huan's grip on my shirt loosened. Her eyes drooped. One big yawn. Then the sweetest smile I've ever seen. "Love you, Daddy." 3 words. 3 words and I was done. Finished. This tiny person just ended me. I will burn empires for her. I will invent new weapons for her. I will fight gods for her. Her other hand was holding her mother's. And within minutes, she was out cold. I stopped humming. Looked over to say something to Zhao Jinxia. She was asleep too. The Empress of Dakian fell asleep to my lullaby. Like a baby. Just. Out. Gone. But even in sleep, she was frowning. Her body was curled up tight. Hands pulled close to her chest, like she was protecting herself from something. No peace. No safety. Even unconscious, this woman was on guard. 5 years of sleeping alone. Raising a child alone. Fighting a court alone. Being called a disgrace for having my daughter. Never one single night of real rest. I looked at my 2 girls. One tiny, one fierce. Both broken in ways I couldn't fix overnight. And I made a promise. Silent. Absolute. This life, nothing touches them. Not barbarians. Not empires. Not the entire world. Morning came. I opened my eyes to find Huan Huan burrowed into my chest like a human caterpillar. Adorable. Then I noticed something else. Zhao Jinxiao wasn't on her pillow. She was sleeping on my arm. Her head nestled in the crook of my elbow, and her leg thrown across my body. Full koala mode. She chose me as her mattress. The Empress used me as a body pillow. Then her eyes snapped open. She saw my arm under her head. Her leg draped over me. My face 6 inches from hers. Both of us fully clothed. Thank God. But the position was compromising. She went from sleepy to horrified in 0.3 seconds. Checked her clothes. Everything intact. Internally panicking. Sleep well? I asked innocently. Terrible. Worst sleep of my life. Liar. She slept like a rock. First full night's rest she's had in 5 years, and she's calling it terrible. This woman would rather die than admit she was comfortable. Maybe the mattress needs breaking in. Give it a few more nights. Her eyes said, try that line again, and you lose your tongue. I carefully extracted my dead-numb arm, slipped out of bed without waking Huan Huan, and opened the bedroom door. Ma Sanbao fell into the room. Ow. Heaven have mercy. The old man had been standing guard outside my bedroom door all night. Like a human doorstop, pressed against the wood with his ear, ready to burst in the second he heard anything suspicious. Red Lady was nearby, looking amused. He stood there the entire night. I helped him up. Ma Sanbao, they're safe with me. Nobody can hurt them here. You don't need to guard the door anymore. He dusted himself off and hissed. If you want me to stop worrying, then keep your hands to yourself. Fair enough. The man guarded my bedroom like a eunuch protecting the imperial chambers, which is exactly what he was doing. I just didn't know it yet. After breakfast, which I cooked again, because being a good dad means pancakes, Chow the secretary arrived. Sir, the trial and awards ceremony is ready. All guests are seated. Waiting on you. I looked at Zhao Jinxia. Coming with me or staying home? Don't concern yourself with MY schedule. Daddy, I want a GO, but what about your mom? Huan Huan, with the devastating logic of a 4-year-old. I'll watch and then come back and tell her everything. You brat. You have a father for 2 days and suddenly I don't exist. Come on. Come with us. It'll be great. I want the whole county to meet you. The First Lady of Bailiang, Lu Yuan. I am not your wife. We share one child. That is all. I, Zhao Jinxia, will never be anyone's missus. In this lifetime. Fine, fine, you win. I lifted Huan Huan into the air. Okay, baby girl. Mommy doesn't want to be First Lady. So you can be Bailiang County's first little princess instead. Huan Huan giggled and clapped. Daddy, Huan Huan is already a little princess. Dead. Silence. Zhao Jinxiao went white. Because Huan Huan, my sweet, innocent, candy-bribed, secret-leaking daughter, just casually announced that she's actual royalty. In front of me. In front of the servants. In front of everyone. Zhao Huan Huan. Shut your mouth. The kid had no idea what she'd done wrong. She is a princess. That's a fact. She was just stating facts. But Zhao Jinxiao was having a mini heart attack. Because one more slip like that, and the whole cover is blown. Her 4-year-old has leaked her name, her hotel, her emotional state, and now her royal title. All for the price of some sugar crisps and daddy hugs. I stood there, holding my daughter, thinking, she said she's a princess. Weird thing for a kid to say. Did I connect the dots? Reader, I did not connect the dots. I have invented electricity, gunpowder, cannons, cement, spring mattresses, and electric lighting. But apparently my brain has a specific blind spot shaped exactly like your one-night stand is the Empress. We're going to the trial. This should be fun. So we had our first real fight. Over a butt smack. On a 4-year-old. Huan Huan said, I'm already a princess. Which, okay, weird thing for a kid to say, but kids say stuff like that all the time, right? And Zhao Jinxia pounced. Snatched Huan Huan from my arms and smacked her, but so fast it created a sonic boom. What did I say about talking nonsense? Huan Huan's lip trembled. Those big eyes filled with tears. And something inside me went from 0 to Papa Bear in about half a second. Why are you hitting her? This is Bailiang, not the capital. In my heart she is a princess. I'd say it to the emperor's face. If the emperor doesn't like it, she can come fight me. Yeah, I said that. Defending my daughter's right to call herself a princess. To the actual emperor, who was standing right there. Zhao Jinxia looked like she wanted to strangle me, bury me, dig me up, and strangle me again. If you keep spoiling her like this, she'll grow up ruined. Nobody spoiled her for 5 years. Now I'm here, and I'll spoil her as much as I want. Anyone who bullies my daughter dies. We're leaving in 2 days. You won't go to the capital. You won't serve the country. Don't make promises you can't keep. We stormed off in opposite directions. Well, I stormed off with the baby. She stormed off after the baby. Ma Sambao watched us both from the sidelines muttering, "Cursed romance. Cursed." I got to the trial grounds. Sat down. Put Huan Huan on my lap. Still fuming. Then Zhao Jinxiao appeared out of nowhere. Sat down next to me without a word. Face cold as the Arctic, staring straight ahead like I didn't exist. She followed me. She's mad at me. But she followed me. Zhang Wei and Zhao Ji exchanged looks. Both princesses were gnashing their teeth from the VIP section. All right, business time. Bring the prisoners. Over 11,000 barbarian prisoners were marched out and forced to kneel. 11,000. Stretching across the entire plaza. The visual was absolutely terrifying. And downwind from the county, at the three-way border crossing, we built a monument from the heads of the dead. Over 10,000 skulls preserved in quickite, stacked into a pyramid. A warning to anyone thinking about messing with us. Yeah, I built a skull pyramid. Is it dramatic? Yes. Does it work? Absolutely. Merchant caravans see that thing from a mile away and suddenly decide to be very well behaved. Chow the secretary read out the charges. Every prisoner got sentenced to the labor camps. Permanent hard labor. Building roads, mining, construction. No parole. No mercy. The foreign diplomats were losing their minds, whispering to each other. Those are elite cavalry. Any empire would kill to recruit them. He's sending them to break rocks. Yeah, because I don't need unreliable barbarian cavalry. I have guns. Give me another year, and cavalry won't even be a relevant military concept anymore. Why would I add 11,000 potential traitors to my ranks when I can add 11,000 free construction workers instead? Then came the part that mattered. The real reason I hold these ceremonies. In this battle, Bailiang County lost 2 heroes. Please welcome the spirits of our fallen. 2 honor guards walked out carrying urns. The plaza went dead silent. 100,000 spectators, soldiers, civilians, merchants, foreign diplomats, all fell quiet at the same time. Everyone rise. Remove your hats. Moment of silence. I took off my hat and held it over my heart. And what happened next is why I will never abandon this place. Every single person in that plaza removed their hat. The adults knelt on one knee. The children knelt on both knees and bowed their heads to the ground. An entire city, honoring 2 soldiers who died protecting them. Chow read their stories through tears. Jia Ergu, Bailiang native, age 17, unmarried, served 3 years in the guard battalion, fought with valor, gave his life for the people of Bailiang, 17. He was 17, a kid, my kid, one of my soldiers who I trained and fed and watched grow up. Chen Daniu, Bailiang native, age 18, married, father of 2, served 4 years, 18 with 2 kids. Now his children have no father. Because some barbarian decided to attack us on parade day. The wind howled. Old women wept. Grandfathers pointed at the urns and told their grandchildren, "See those heroes? Grow up to be like them." I walked to the urns. Straightened the county flag draped over each one. My hands were steady, but my chest was on fire. Brothers, thank you for everything you gave Bailiang. Some deaths are light as feathers. Yours are heavy as mountains. From today, your names enter the Heroes' Hall. The entire county will honor you. I, Lu Yuan, swear before every citizen here. Your families will be cared for. Your children will be raised. If I break this oath, let me die the worst death. I raised my fist to the sky and faced the crowd. Brothers and sisters of Bailiang, how do we let our heroes rest in peace? 100,000 voices roared back as one. Blood for blood, tooth for tooth. With barbarian blood, we honor our heroes' souls. Kill, kill, kill. The ground shook. The air vibrated. 100,000 people screaming for vengeance with one voice. Even the barbarian prisoners on the ground were trembling. In the VIP section, Chongning went mute. Yongla stopped thinking entirely. Neither of their empires had anything like this. This wasn't military discipline. This wasn't fear. This was 100,000 people who would die for each other. Who would die for me? Zhao Ji wiped his eyes. Now I understand why Bailiang never loses. Zhang Wei nodded quietly. Because these people love this land. Love each other. Love their magistrate. How could they not be invincible? Even Ma Sanbao sniffled. Damn, that dog official really knows how to make people cry. And Zhao Jinxia, my ice queen, the woman who'd been fighting with me 20 minutes ago over a butt smack, she was watching me stand in front of those urns, making oaths to dead teenagers, crying with my people, and then channeling their grief into iron-hard unity. And for once, she wasn't thinking about treason or execution or dog officials. She was thinking, how does he do this? How does one man turn a wasteland into a family? Why don't my people love me like this? Why can't my empire have what this county has? And somewhere deep under all that imperial pride and suspicion, why did I wait 5 years to come back to him? She'd never admit it. But I saw her eyes. They were wet. Not from the wind. Kill. 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 A million voices shaking the earth. My people. My city. Screaming for barbarian blood because 2 of our boys died. 2. Just 2 soldiers. And my entire county wanted to burn the barbarian nation to the ground for it. That's what makes Bailiang different. In any other country, 2 dead soldiers is a rounding error. A footnote. Here, it's a declaration of war. I raised my fist and gave them what they wanted. After the international conference, we march. We flatten the barbarians. Every hero who died for Bailiang gets their justice. The foreign diplomats went pale. Zhang Songyan from Scenery, Wang De from Xia, both of them suddenly reconsidering every life choice that brought them to this plaza. Because they just watched a county magistrate casually announce genocide over 2 casualties and 1 million people screamed, yes, like he'd just announced free beer. The universal thought across every foreign delegation, whatever we do, do not piss off Bailiang. Ever. Then I ordered the top 100 barbarian officers executed on the spot. Public beheading. Right there. Heads rolling across the plaza. Blood pooling in the cracks of my beautiful concrete. Zhao Jinxia covered Huan's eyes, but she didn't look away herself. In fact, she looked excited. Turns out her father, whoever that is, she still won't tell me, spent his whole life wanting to destroy the barbarians, but died before he could. Now she was watching me do what her dad never could. The merchant wives were puking in the corner. My people didn't even flinch. Tuesday in Bailiang. Then came the awards ceremony. And this is where everyone's jaws hit the floor. Every wounded soldier got cash bonuses and promotions. Every kill was rewarded. I was handing out silver like Halloween candy. By the time Chow finished reading the list, I distributed over 2 million taels. That's 20 taels per confirmed kill. Real silver. Paid on the spot. The foreign merchants did the math, and their eyes glazed over. Ma Sanbao was clutching his head. Wasteful. Absolutely wasteful. Zhao Ji leaned over to Zhang Wei. How much was Bailiang Pass's total military budget last year? Zhang Wei winced. Under 200,000 taels, Bailiang County's 30,000 troops cost about 1.2 million per year in total military spending. Zhang Wei looked like someone punched him in the soul. His fortress, with 5 times the soldiers, runs on a budget that's a fraction of what I just gave away as bonuses. In one afternoon, for one battle, the entire Dakian national military budget across all forces, about the same as my counties. One county matching one nation. Zhang Wei wanted to crawl into a hole. No wonder my soldiers fight like demons. Every other army pays their men enough to not starve. I pay mine enough to buy houses. You tell me which army fights harder. After the ceremony, I rushed off to inspect the International Conference Exhibition Hall. Huan was tired, so Zhao Jinxia took her home. And the news I'd just announced, Bailiang will invade the barbarians, spread across the continent like wildfire. Now, what I didn't know was what was happening inside the barbarian capital. But my spies filled me in later, and honestly, it was hilarious and terrifying in equal measure. The barbarian Khan, old man 2-man, was slumped in his golden tent looking like death warmed over, while his 2 idiot sons screamed at each other. Son number 1, Wusun, this is your fault. You listened to the Xia Empire's people and kidnapped Zhang Wei. Now Saiha is dead and we lost 30,000 elites. Son number 2, Yeshian. At least I'm not secretly working with the Scenery Empire, you backstabbing. Working with Scenery is diplomacy. Your stunt with Zhang Wei was suicide. They went back and forth blaming each other while the old Khan wanted to strangle them both. Wusun laid out the cold truth. The wolf cavalry is halved. Lu Yuan just announced he's coming to exterminate us after his trade conference. He has heavy cavalry stronger than ours, infantry that counters cavalry, cannons, guns, and now 30,000 of our horses. What do you plan to fight him with? Those 30 stolen muskets that don't have AMMO? Those training grenades that don't explode? Yeshin, shut up. Because Wusun was right. My heavy cavalry outclasses their wolf cavalry. My saber infantry is specifically designed to counter mounted charges. My artillery makes siege warfare a joke. And I just captured enough horses to double my cavalry overnight. They're finished, and they know it. Old Two-Man made a decision that sent chills down both sons' spines. We contact the main branch. See, here's something I didn't know yet. These barbarians? They're just a splinter group. 200 years ago, during the last Continental War, the main barbarian horde was nearly wiped out. This little branch fled to the border region and renamed themselves to hide. But the main branch? They disappeared into the far north. And in 200 years of silence, they apparently conquered the entire western continent. They now command 1 million mounted warriors and tens of millions of slaves. An empire bigger than any of the 3 nations combined. And this desperate old Khan was about to send them a letter that basically says, "Hey cousins, remember us? We're getting beaten up by a county magistrate with magic thunder weapons. Please come save us. We'll be your vassals. Just don't let us go extinct," Yeshin warned. "If we call them, we'll never be kings again. We'll be demoted to minor lords under their rule." The old Khan closed his eyes. Better a living vassal than a dead king. Our ancestors told us to conquer this land. We failed. But if the main branch returns with 1 million riders, perhaps the original mission can be completed. So let me get this straight. I'm about to squash a barbarian tribe like a bug. And their response is to call their big brother, a continental superpower with 1 million cavalry that nobody even knew existed, to come fight me instead. I just wanted to run a nice county, build some roads, maybe invent air conditioning. But in Olo, now there's potentially 1 million horsemen coming from the other side of the world because I was too good at my job. This is what happens when you overperform. The universe sends bigger problems. You love me. I love you. Honey Ice City sweet and true, yeah? I put a Mishua jingle in my trade fair. Because I'm from the future and nobody can stop me. Morning of the international conference. I woke up early, grabbed my girls, and headed out to show them the biggest trade show in the ancient world. My trade show. 4th annual. Each year bigger than the last. Huan was losing her tiny mind at everything. "Daddy, what's that?" "The white fat thing. That's the Snow King mascot, sweetie." "Daddy, look. That thing looks like a cloud." "Eagle Eye, get us cotton candy." Now, Eagle Eye sprinted over, 7-foot cross-eyed warrior buying cotton candy. What a sight. And came back with a handful. I gave one to Huan, offered one to Zhao Jinxia. "Try it, it's actually pretty good." "I don't want it." Ice Queen mode. She'd been giving me the cold shoulders since yesterday's fight. Full Arctic treatment. Red Lady snatched the cotton candy from my hand. "She doesn't want it? I'll take it." Some people are just difficult. Zhao Jinxia didn't even look at her. Some people only deserve my leftovers. Red Lady's hand went to her sword. I grabbed her wrist. "Red Lady, calm down." She bit the cotton candy furiously, muttering, "What's so special about having a daughter? I can make one too." I scooted away from her so fast I almost fell off the carriage. Zhao Jinxia snorted. "This love triangle is going to get me killed." We arrived at the exhibition hall, a massive building I had custom built for these events. Ma Sanbao took one look at the dragon and phoenix carvings on the entrance and nearly had an aneurysm. Dragons and phoenixes? That's imperial decoration. That's illegal. Who authorized this? Eagle Eye looked at him like he was stupid. "This is Baelyang. Capital rules don't apply here. You cross-eyed chicken, I've been tolerating you. Cross your mother's eyes." "I'm Eagle Eye. I had to step in before my bodyguard murdered my future father-in-law's eunuch." "Eagle Eye, be nice to Uncle Ma." "Uncle Ma, relax. Different city, different rules." We walked in. And even I was impressed with how it turned out this year. Hundreds of exhibition booths. Every category you can imagine. Food, clothing, housing, transportation, technology, luxury goods. Over 400 booths, each one rented at 100 taels per foot. A tiny 3-meter booth cost over 1,000 taels per day. For a 3-day conference, booth rental alone generated over 1 million taels in revenue. Ma Sanbao was practically having a seizure. "Why don't these rich idiots invest in the capital instead?" Zhao Jinxia answered that one herself. "Because nobody in the capital thought to build a platform like this. Only a lawless borderland can attract merchants from all three empires simultaneously. Then she turned to me with those sharp eyes. You're trying to make Bailiang the central hub of all three nations, aren't you? Close, but not quite. I picked up some tea leaves from a stall. I want Bailiang to control the top of every industry. Like tea, every country grows tea. So why is Bailiang tea worth its weight in gold? Because it's unique? Exactly. We mastered processing techniques that produce flavors nobody else can replicate. But eventually, competitors will reverse engineer something close. That's when branding takes over. Branding? You mean, like a shop's reputation sign? Look at you. Making connections already. She tried to hide it, but I saw the tiny flash of pride on her face. The Empress just got excited about receiving a compliment from a county magistrate about basic economics. We're making progress, people. Every country's domestic tea is now selling at cabbage prices. I continued. Made in Bailiang sells at gold prices. That's industry dominance. They can't replicate us, so they have to buy from us. We control the supply chain. We set the prices. We own the game. She nodded slowly. Her brain was clearly running at full speed, absorbing everything, thinking about how to apply these concepts to her empire, which she still hadn't told me she runs. Then we hit the booth that broke everyone's brains. A song was playing from a wooden box. By itself. No singer, no musician, just music floating out of a machine. Night Bailiang, Night Bailiang, you are a city that never sleeps. The merchants gathered around like moths to a flame. What I asked this thing? How does it play music by itself? Wait, that's Morone Wanching's voice. The #1 singer in Bailiang. How is she inside that box? My exhibition hostess stepped up with her best sales smile. Gentlemen, this is Bailiang's newest invention, the phonograph. It records performances and plays them back anytime, anywhere. Plug it in, and you can enjoy the finest music from your living room. Every successful gentleman needs one. The auctioneer followed. 2 purchase options. Wholesale at 300 taels per unit, minimum 5. Or buy exclusive national distribution rights at 250 per unit. The room went feral. I want scenery exclusive rights. 10,000 taels. XI exclusive. 20,000. A phonograph. A record player. These people were ready to start wars over a box that plays music. Because in a world where you have to hire live musicians every time you want entertainment, a device that plays recorded music is basically witchcraft. And this was just one booth. One product. Out of 400. Zhao Jianxiao was gripping my arm again. Not romantically, more like a drowning person grabbing a life raft. Her empire can barely afford candles. My county is casually auctioning off phonographs, electric lights, and recording technology like it's a garage sale. Ma Sambao had given up trying to calculate the money. His brain blue-screened about 3 booths ago. He was just shuffling behind us with dead eyes, muttering numbers that didn't make sense anymore. And we hadn't even gotten to the electricity auction yet. I put on my sunglasses. Yes, I invented sunglasses too, don't ask. Adjusted my face mask and led my family deeper into the exhibition hall, completely incognito. Somewhere behind me, Zhao Jianxiao was having the same thought she'd been having for 3 days straight. How is this possible? How is one county richer than my entire empire? And why? Why? Does this man refuse to help me? The answer was walking right next to her, holding her daughter, buying her cotton candy. But she wasn't ready to hear it yet. The phonograph auction was beautiful. Starting bid, 150,000 taels. For a box that plays music. Ma Sambao nearly collapsed. 150,000? It doesn't even cook. You could visit the brothel 1,000 times for that money. Uncle Ma has very specific financial benchmarks. The bidding hit 310,000 in the time it takes to drink a cup of tea. Ma Sambao's eye was twitching uncontrollably. Zhao Jianxiao leaned in and whispered, "So how much does one actually cost to make?" I sighed dramatically. Honestly, it's basically a loss for us. We're practically giving them away. I held up 2 fingers. 200 taels, 20 taels. 10 for labor, 10 for materials. A device that sells for 250 minimum and auctions at 300,000 for exclusive distribution rights. And I called it, barely breaking even. Ma Sambao looked like a man watching his entire worldview collapse in real time. 20? You said? You. 20. Lost leader. I what? Zhao Jianxia also wanted to punch me. I could tell by the way her fist clenched. But her brain was too busy doing math to let her body commit violence. I walked her through the business model because, honestly, I was showing off and I couldn't stop myself. Take Dakian alone. 12 million households. Conservative estimate, 100,000 can afford luxury goods. Even if only 10% buy, that's 10,000 units at 300 taels minimum. 3 million taels in retail. The distributor pays 35,000 for exclusive rights, marks up the price, splits sub-distribution rights to second-tier and third-tier dealers. They recoup their investment within a month. Everything after that is pure profit. We sit at the top of the pyramid, eating steak. Total distributors gnaw bones. Sub-distributors drink soup. Everyone makes money. We make the most. You're a crook, Ma Sanbao yelled. Final auction results. Dakian distribution rights sold for 350,000. Scenery, for 120,000. Xia, for 150,000. Total income before selling a single unit, 1.22 million taels. The winning distributors immediately set up in conference rooms to auction sub-distribution rights. My staff escorted them there with full white glove service. One-stop shop. From bidding to reselling in under an hour. My county runs like a well-oiled machine, I said to nobody in particular. We moved on to the home electronics section. Electric kettles, water heaters, electric fans. Every booth was mobbed. Distribution rights going for 3 to 10,000 taels each. Small numbers individually, but with dozens of products, it added up fast. These all require electricity to work, don't they? Zhao Jianxia's eyes narrowed. Yep. Without power, they're expensive decorations. You snake, Ma Sanbao snarled. 1 unit of electricity costs 10 taels. Running these devices probably burns 10 units a day. You're selling the razor and the blades. I stroked my chin. 10 units is realistic, yeah? But rich people's money doesn't spend itself. Zhao Jianxia was mentally cataloging my entire business ecosystem. Buy Bailiang electricity. Buy Bailiang appliances. Drink Bailiang tea. Sleep on Bailiang mattresses. Listen to Bailiang music. Empty your wallet into Bailiang's treasury. Every single product funneled money back to me. And every product required other products of mine to function. Electric fan? Needs electricity. Phonograph? Needs electricity. Electricity? Only available from BILING. A perfectly closed economic loop of pure, refined greed. Even Red Lady and Eagle Eye were mentally calling me a crook, and they work for me. Can 1 million units of electricity even cover 3 empires? Zhao Jinxia asked. 300,000 wealthy households across 3 nations. That's barely 3 units per household. Not enough? That's the beauty of artificial scarcity, babe. If I give them plenty, they won't pay premium prices. Keep the supply tight. Watch the demand skyrocket. She stared at me with an expression halfway between disgust and admiration. Discrimination? Admagust? Whatever it was, she was impressed against her will and hated it. Then we wandered into the literature section. Nice, quiet, civilized, boss. Magistrate Ayuan and the handsome magistrate and the pretty Empress just dropped new volumes. Eagle Eye came charging out of the adult section waving 2 illustrated novels with very suggestive covers. I broke into a cold sweat. What are you? I am a man of integrity. Why would I read such? Ma Sanbao's curiosity got the better of him. He picked one up, opened it. His face turned the color of a tomato. Your Majesty, miss, don't look, too late. Zhao Jinxia had already opened a copy. One glance. Her face went scarlet. You disgusting dog man. You read this filth. Mommy, is it a picture book? I want to see. It's adult books. Baby, not for children. I grabbed Huan and sprinted out of the adult section, which brought us directly to the personal items section, where a group of enthusiastic merchants were testing a certain battery-powered product. This one's great. It vibrates so hard my hand went numb. With this, I'll never fear my crazy wife again. I kicked Eagle Eye. Who led us down this aisle? Boss, this is our usual route. Every year we go through here. Yeah, every year when I come alone. Not with my wife and 4-year-old daughter. Ma Sanbao was howling. Zhao Jinxia's face could fry an egg. She was radiating enough heat to power my electrical grid. You are disgusting. Using precious paper to print smut. You call yourself a scholar. The books are basically free. 10 won to print. We sell them for 100, total loss leader. Lost leader? 500 million copies at 101. That's hundreds of thousands in profit from pornography. Well, yeah, but the piracy is cutting into margins if you factor in. I don't want to hear your profit margins on smut. Listen, a man's got to diversify his revenue streams. The adult entertainment industry is recession-proof in every timeline. I'm just applying universal economic principles, but explaining that to the mother of your child while she's holding a book with your face drawn on the cover in a compromising position with a fictional empress? Some battles even I can't win. Zhao Jinxia caught something in what I said earlier and wouldn't let it go. You said books cost 10 when to make? Do you think I'm a toddler? In the capital, a single book costs one tael minimum. Students can't even afford to buy books. They have to hand copy them for hundreds of won. She wasn't wrong. Books are insanely expensive everywhere else. The aristocratic families hoard all the knowledge. Control the books, control education, control the country. It's been that way for centuries, and the Empress, her father's ministry, has been getting crushed trying to fight it. Bailiang's papermaking is third generation now, I explained. Costs almost nothing. Plus we invented mass printing. We can stamp out thousands of copies a day. Same technology works on clothing too. I pointed at the fashion district where my printed t-shirts were selling like crazy. 5 million units last year. We couldn't keep up with demand, so I put the labor camp prisoners on sewing machines. Free labor. Just feed them. Costs dropped even further. She grabbed my hand so tight her knuckles went white. You're not lying to me. Why would I lie? Scenery and xia paper prices have already halved because of my exports. By this year, I'll probably collapse the entire paper market. Then why is paper still expensive in Dakian? Because if I sell paper to the capital, the emperor finds out about me. I've been hiding, remember? Watch your mouth about the emperor, Ma Sambao snapped. Huan slapped her little hand over my mouth. Daddy, no bad words. Ow, sorry baby, daddy's bad. Daddy deserves a smack. Zhao Jinxia pinched me. Hard. If you have cheap paper, why not help Dakian? Cheap books could educate millions of poor students. You could print textbooks instead of pornography, and every scholar in the empire would OWEU. Don't want to be famous, I said. She looked like she wanted to stab me with a calligraphy brush. Besides, I continued, flooding Dakian with cheap products would destroy their existing industries. Papermakers go bankrupt. Booksellers close shop. The whole commercial ecosystem collapses. I'm actually protecting Dakian's fragile economy by staying out. Oh, so now you're doing charity. Bingo. I snapped my fingers. She pinched me again. Harder this time. I tried to explain that I'd even rejected Zhao Ji's request to sell electricity to the capital because once people see electric light, the secret's out forever. As long as electricity doesn't reach the capital, I stay hidden. So you'll sell to every empire except your own, just to protect your little hideout? That understanding would be appreciated. Before she could kill me, Xia Yuan, my trade conference director, came running over. Sir, the main pavilion is about to collapse. Everyone's trying to get to the electricity auction early. That's the finale. Day 3. Tell them to wait or get kicked out permanently. She ran off. I turned back to Zhao Jinxia. Day 1's products are just appetizers. The real show is the next 2 days. And BOY, was it a show? Day 2. I unveiled the Bailiang Peace Model 28, a bicycle. Also, pedal-powered sewing machines. 3-wheeled cargo carts. Each product caused a small riot of bidding. Zhao Jinxia's brain was rebooting after every reveal. A vehicle that moves without horses? A machine that sews by itself? She'd barely processed one invention before the next one shattered her worldview all over again. But Day 3. Day 3 was MY moment. I put on my sharpest suit, climbed the auction stage, looked out at hundreds of the richest people on the continent, all vibrating with anticipation. 3 days of shopping had drained their wallets and their sanity, but the big fish were hungry. They'd been saving everything for this. Thank you all for supporting Bailiang. I hope these 3 days have been profitable. Satisfied smiles everywhere. The major distributors had already made fortunes just by reselling sub-distribution rights. Everyone was fat and happy and ready to spend. Now, the main event. The electricity auction. The room went silent. The rules. This time, I'm selling 10-year exclusive distribution rights. Eyes went wide. I normally only offer 3-year contracts. 10 years meant long-term guaranteed income. A decade of monopoly profits. Additionally, I've been observing the heavens. I stroked my chin wisely, and this year's weather patterns will produce much more lightning than usual. So instead of 1 million units, I'm offering 3 million units annually. For the foreseeable future, 3 million units. At 10 taels each. 30 million taels per year in raw electricity revenue alone. Over 10 years, 300 million. The room was so tense you could hear HERTBATS. One national distributor per country. Starting bid for each country, 3 million taels. Silence. Complete, total, devastating silence. Wang Debao, my biggest fan, looked like I'd just asked him to buy the moon. Sir, 3 million. Isn't that a bit much? If you sold me, I couldn't cover that. They had money. They were rich. But 3 million in cash? Nobody carries that kind of liquid capital. It was like asking someone to buy a Ferrari with coins. Ma Sanbao whispered to Zhao Jinxia. He's gone too far this time. 3 million taels was our entire national tax revenue last year. Nobody can afford this. Even Zhao Jinxia frowned. Maybe I'd finally gotten too greedy. Chongning pouted. Big brother, this isn't business. This is robbery. Yongla struck her trademark power pose. Lu Yuan, be my man and forget 3 million. I'll pay 5. I stood on that stage, looking at a room full of the world's wealthiest people, all staring at me like I'd lost my mind. Had I overplayed my hand? Was 3 million too steep? Heh, just wait. The room was quiet for about 5 seconds. Then the princesses started doing math, and their brains caught fire. Yongla went first. 3 million? Fine. I'll pay it. When I marry Lu Yuan, half of everything is mine anyway. Chongning blinked. Then thought, wait, that actually makes sense. She turned to her diplomat. Bid. Now, Zhang Songyin ran the numbers and whispered, Princess, if we secure 3 million units for 10 years, we'd make tens of millions reselling electricity. This pays for itself in the first year. Suddenly 3 million didn't sound so crazy. I sweetened the deal from the stage. Once you buy the distribution rights, you don't pay for electricity up front anymore. We install meters. Monthly billing. So your initial investment is just the rights fee. After that, sell electricity at 15 taels per unit, pocket 5 taels profit per unit, multiply by hundreds of thousands of customers, and I could literally see the drool forming on people's chins. Zhao Ji looked at Zhao Jinxia. She gave him the tiniest nod. A secret imperial authorization, disguised as a wife nodding at her husband's student. Zhao Ji jumped up. Dakian bids 3.1 million. Chongning fired back instantly. Scenery bids 3.3 million. For the Dakian market, Zhao Ji's had almost exploded. That's our market. What are you doing? Chongning grinned. Your teacher said he doesn't care who buys it. Highest bidder wins. If you want electricity in Dakian, buy it from me. Master. She's cheating. I shrugged from the stage. Fair competition. If you can't afford it, don't complain. Brutal? Yes. But this is business. I don't hand out discounts because you're my student. That's how empires go soft. The Dakian merchants rallied behind Zhao Ji like an army. Shun Wanqian, Dakian's richest man. I'll put in 1 million. Fengyun Guild. 800,000. Tianxia Guild. 500,000. Zhao Ji was almost crying with gratitude. Thank you all. I'll make sure you're rewarded. The bidding war raged. Scenery and Xia kept driving up the price just to bleed Dakian dry. Classic international sabotage. Zhao Ji finally snapped. Keep inflating our price, and I'll do the same to yours. Nobody wins. Both princesses exchanged looks. Smirked, but backed off. Final price for Dakian's electricity rights. 5,800,000 taels. Ma Sanbao was soaked in sweat. That's 2 years of national tax revenue. For lightning, Zhao Jinxia said nothing. But I could see her doing the calculations behind those beautiful, terrified eyes. Next, scenery market. The other two empires drove up the price out of spite. Final bid, 7 million. Last, Great Xia. Biggest territory, biggest population, biggest price tag. 8,200,000. Grand total for all 3 electricity distribution rights. 21 million taels. I'll write that again because it deserves its own paragraph. 21 million taels. Dakian's entire annual revenue, all taxes, grain levies, everything combined, is 18 million. I just made more than that in one auction. For one product. On a Tuesday afternoon, Zhao Jinxia was physically incapable of speech. Her brain was doing calculations that were breaking her. With 21 million taels, she could rebuild the Imperial Guard from scratch. She could raise 500,000 additional soldiers. She could feed every starving province, pave every road, pay every debt, transform her dying empire into a superpower. And it all flowed through one county. Her county, run by her baby daddy, who she'd been planning to execute. I stepped to the front of the stage. Thank you all for your support. The 4th Annual International Conference is officially concluded. All payments due within 1 month. No extensions. The crowd clapped until their palms hurt. Even the people who'd spent their last coin were happy because they knew they'd make it back tenfold. Someone in the crowd shouted about the upcoming Baelyang sports tournament in 3 months. More events. More money. The hype machine never stops in my county. Backstage, Zhao Jinxiao walked up to me. Her tone was different, softer, almost human. Congratulations. 21 million taels. More than the entire nation's revenue. I blinked. Wait, you're not going to call me a greedy dog man. Money matters. I don't like your methods, but I understand why you do it. That was the closest thing to a compliment she'd ever given me. I was so shocked I almost dropped Huan Huan. I pulled Huan Huan close and whispered, "What's wrong with mommy? Did she eat something weird today?" My daughter, my beautiful, traitorous, secret-spilling genius daughter, whispered back at a volume that everyone within 10 feet could hear perfectly. "Daddy, I'll tell you a secret. Mommy has no money. She wants to borrow some from you, but she's too embarrassed to ask." The air froze. Red Lady snorted. Fake dignity. Zhao Jinxia's face cycled through embarrassment, fury, and the overwhelming desire to sell her daughter to a traveling circus. "You little brat. Who said I need to borrow money from him?" Huan Huan blinked innocently. She had no idea she'd just revealed that the Empress of Dakian was broke. Flat broke. Running an empire on fumes broke. And too proud to ask her baby daddy, who just made 21 million in an afternoon, for a loan. I looked at Zhao Jinxia. She looked away. Her ears were burning red. And for the first time in this entire trip, I saw something in her expression that wasn't anger or suspicion or imperial authority. It was need. Real, desperate, swallowed pride need. The most powerful woman in the world was standing next to the richest man in the world, and she couldn't bring herself to say 5 simple words. "I need your help." But her 4-year-old just said it for her. At full volume. In front of everyone. God, I love my daughter. Huan Huan's secret hit the room like a grenade. My girl whispered at a volume that could be heard in the next county that her mom was broke and too embarrassed to ask for money. Zhao Jinxiao looked like she wanted the earth to swallow her whole. Her secret, mumbled under her breath, had been intercepted and broadcast by a 4-year-old with zero concept of discretion. She went silent. Wouldn't look at me. Pride and desperation fighting a war behind those beautiful eyes. Ma Sanbao stepped in, angry as always. "So what if she needs money? She gave birth to your child. She suffered for 5 years. If you had any decency, she wouldn't need to ask." You know what? The old man was right. I'm sitting on a mountain of gold, and I let the mother of my child get to the point where she has to beg? What kind of man does that? "Just tell me how much," I said. "Money is literally the one thing I have too much of." She hesitated. Raised one hand. 500,000? Done. I'll have it sent over this afternoon. No, not 500. She'd been about to say 50,000. 50,000. That's what she needed. The equivalent of pocket change in my world. Enough to keep her family, whatever family she has in the capital, from going completely bankrupt. Then Red Lady opened her mouth and ruined everything. 5 million, more like it. Always looking down on the master while eyeing his wallet. Your fake dignity makes me sick. The room temperature dropped to absolute zero. I turned to Red Lady and unleashed something I'd been holding back for days. "Red Lady." "Enough." She flinched. I never talked to her like that. Disrespecting her is disrespecting me. She is the mother of my daughter. I don't care if we're not married. In my heart, I will marry her someday. She endured 5 years of suffering and humiliation for having my child, and she has never complained to me. Not once. You think that's fake? You think a woman who went through hell alone for half a decade is pretending? I looked at every person in that room. 500 million wouldn't be too much if she asked for it. From today forward, hear me, anyone who disrespects her disrespects me. Before, she had nobody to protect her. That ends now. Anyone who touches a hair on her or my daughter's head, I will kill their entire family. And you all know I'm not bluffing. Dead silence. Nobody breathed. Because they all knew, in Bailiang, my word is law. I've never made a threat I didn't follow through on. Zhao Jinxiao was looking at me. And for the first time, the very first time since she walked back into my life, her walls came down. Not partially. Not a crack. They collapsed. Everything she'd been holding back. 5 years of loneliness, of being called a disgrace, of raising Huan alone while an entire court mocked her, of being strong every single second because she had no choice. It all hit her at once. Her eyes filled with tears. She tried to stop them, bit her lip, clenched her fists. But the wave was too strong. Tears spilled down her cheeks, and she couldn't do a thing about it. Since her father died, nobody had protected her. Nobody had stood up for her. Nobody had said, I'll handle it, and meant it. She'd been carrying the weight of, well, I thought it was a family. Turns out it was an entire empire. But whatever it was, she'd been carrying it alone. And here I was, a loudmouth county magistrate who calls the emperor a dog, telling the whole room that this woman is my world, and anyone who disagrees can meet my army. Red Lady looked shaken. She walked to Zhao Jinxia. Madam, I was wrong. She raised her hand to slap herself, but Zhao Jinxia caught her wrist. Through wet eyes, with a voice that barely held steady, she said, I am a woman. I never make things difficult for other women. One sentence. And Red Lady, tough, saber-carrying, Dragon Lady Red Lady, felt something shift inside her chest. Whatever hatred she'd been carrying toward my wife cracked in half. Then Zhao Jinxia turned to me, forced her voice steady, and said, I'll write you an IOU. Everyone here is a witness. If I don't repay you, take my life. I wiped the tears off her face with my thumb. I never doubted you. You know why I built Bailiang this big? Part of it was survival, but part of it was you. I've been building all of this since the night you left. So Bailiang's success is your success too. Ma Sanbao was right. I was an idiot for making you ask. 500,000 for you. 500,000 for Huan. 1 million a year. Done. Her composure shattered again. She'd barely glued herself back together, and I hit her with 1,000,000 taels annual allowance. Too much, she choked. I can't repay that. Lady, you have no idea. You literally run the country I pay taxes to. But you don't know that I know that. And I don't know that you are that. So here we are, two idiots dancing around the biggest secret in the empire. I took her hand. Husband earns, wife spends. That's the rule. My wife and daughter get the luxury treatment. Non-negotiable. I pulled her, stiff as a board, face soaked, ears crimson, out of the backstage area. Behind us, I heard the aftermath. Zhao Ji to Zhang Wei. How much is Bailiang Pass's annual military budget? Zhang Wei, dead inside. About 1/50th of what the Empress just got as pocket money. Zhao Ji. I've been doing business for years and I can't earn what my cousin got from one sentence. When we got home, Chow the secretary had already arranged the delivery. Crate after crate of gold, not silver, gold, stacked in Zhao Jinxia's courtyard like a small mountain. 50,000 taels of gold. Refined. Highest purity. Each tael worth 12 to 13 silver taels on the open market. Silver's too bulky, I explained. Gold is easier to transport. This is from my personal dividends, not the public treasury. I can't take county money for personal stuff. The other 500,000 will be ready in a few days. Ma Sanbao saw the gold and lost his mind. He dove onto the crates, pried one open, and the reflection of pure gold literally blinded him. He started caressing the bars like they were puppies. Gold. Beautiful gold. Ha 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 ha. Then he started sobbing. Full-on ugly, crying into a pile of bullion. Because he was thinking about the old emperor, Zhao Jinxia's father, who died heartbroken because the treasury was empty. If he'd had this money, maybe he wouldn't have withered away. Maybe the coup wouldn't have happened. Maybe everything would have been different. I didn't understand why a servant was crying over gold like it was personal, but I let him have his moment. Then I did something that even surprised myself. I reached into my pocket and pulled out a key. Small. Iron. Unremarkable. Here, I placed it in Zhao Jinxia's hand. This is the key to my personal treasury. Every coin I own. Take whatever you need. Whenever you need it. No questions. No IOUs. No limits. She stared at the key in her palm. Then at me. Then at the mountain of gold. Then back at the key. The most powerful woman in the world. holding the key to the richest man in the world's entire fortune. Given freely. No conditions. No tricks. Because I love her. It's really that simple. She closed her fingers around the key and said nothing. But she didn't give it back. And that, right there, was worth more than 21 million taels. She didn't take the key. I poured my heart out. Gave her the key to my entire fortune. Told her everything I own is hers. And she looked at me and said, "You're only giving me this to drag me into your crimes." That one hurt. That one really hurt. I'm not gonna lie, I felt my chest cave in a little. I looked at her and said something I'd never said to anyone in 2 lifetimes. I gave you my real heart. You don't have to take it. But please don't step on it. I'm human too. Then I picked up Juan and walked away. Because if I stayed one more second, I was going to say something I'd regret, and I am trying to be a better man here. That night, after I put Juan to sleep, she was wedged between us like a tiny barricade as usual. Zhao Jinxia dropped the bomb. "We're leaving tomorrow." I sat up so fast, I almost launched the baby. "What? Already? Can't you stay a few more days? Central Province has had drought for 3 years. No harvest. Refugees flooding into the capital. I need to go back and help." "Help with what?" "That's the government's job." "Why is your family responsible for?" "Wait. Is the emperor forcing your dad to pay for disaster relief out of pocket? Is that why you need money?" She went stiff. "If that dog emperor is squeezing your family, just bring your dad here. I'll hide him. That useless Empress will never find him. Stop calling her a dog. Is she really that incompetent in your eyes?" I paused. Actually, I do respect her. A woman ruling an empire? Takes guts. Her face softened slightly. Then I opened my mouth again. But she's so dumb. Without her, Dakian could have limped along for another 20 years. But the stuff she's done since taking over? Grandma crawling into bed made me laugh so hard I almost died. Her face went from softened to volcanic. "Tell me, what exactly has she done that's so stupid?" "Because everything I've seen from Her Majesty has been wise and righteous." "Oh, she wanted specifics?" "I've got specifics. Let's start with how she destroyed the eunuch faction. On the surface, great move, right? Corrupt eunuchs, abuse of power, everyone hates them. Clean house. Feels good, exactly. Those eunuch dogs deserved. But after she wiped them out, did she gain more control? No. She has less power now. She's more trapped than ever." Zhao Jinxiao went quiet. I continued. "Even with Prince Duan helping her, he's basically a mascot. The real players are the new party nobles. They chose to put a woman on the throne because she'd be easier to control. Prince Duan had to make backroom deals with every one of them to get their support. Otherwise, why not crown a prince? There were male heirs available." Her face went white. "And now? The new party is pushing her to take a husband. Not because they want her happy, because they want her to produce a male heir they can control. Every noble family is shoving their prettiest young men at her. Once she has a son and names him crown prince, that's the day the Empress becomes expendable." I said that. To the Empress. About her own future assassination. She was shaking. But I wasn't done. "Here's what the Empress doesn't understand about the eunuch faction. Eunuchs are castrated. They can't have children. They can't found dynasties. They have no independent power base. Every drop of their authority comes from the emperor. They exist as an extension of imperial will. The emperor says go, they go. Says stop, they stop. Says die, they die. They were evil. They were a weapon. The late emperor didn't go to court for 15 years. You think that was laziness? The new party blocked him. They didn't want him speaking. So what did he do? He built up the eunuch faction to counter them. The eunuchs killed new party officials and confiscated their wealth. Wealth that kept the empire financially alive for years. You're making this up. The late emperor created the eunuch faction specifically as a leash on the new party. It was his greatest strategic move. The eunuchs were the only check on noble power. And his daughter, the genius empress, waltzed in and destroyed her father's life's work because she thought she was cleaning house. Zhao Jinxiao looked like I'd punched her in the stomach. Now the new party has no opposition. Nobody to fear. Nobody to check their greed. The Empress eliminated the only force that protected her throne. And she's proud of it. I shook my head sadly. That, right there, is the path to her own destruction. And she doesn't even see it coming. Dead silence. The kind of silence where you can hear your own heartbeat. She was lying on her side, facing away from me. I couldn't see her face, but her shoulders were trembling. I couldn't know, that I'd just dissected her entire political career to her face, told her that her proudest achievement was actually her biggest mistake, that her father's legacy, which she thought she was honoring, was actually what she'd burned down, that the uncle she trusted most had compromised her power from the start, that she was walking toward a trap that would end with her death. And the worst part? She couldn't argue, because deep down, she knew. She'd felt it, the increasing powerlessness, the nobles closing in, the marriage pressure, the suffocating loneliness of a throne that was supposed to set her free but had become her prison. A county magistrate who calls her a dog just explained her own empire to her better than any advisor ever had. She didn't sleep that night. I know because I didn't either. Two people lying in the same bed, separated by a sleeping child, drowning in words neither of them knew how to say. She came to Baelyang looking for a baby daddy. She found the one person who sees her. Not the crown, not the title, not the power, her. And he doesn't even know he's doing it. Because I still think she's just some official's daughter from the capital. I'm a genius who invented electricity, but can't figure out that my girlfriend is the emperor. The irony is physically painful.